Live on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network, it's the Prebis Softball Tournament, scattered into different locations all across Lorain County. We are here at Avon High School this morning. Happy to bring this one to you. Andy Bolbart's joined alongside Dave Rivera. We've got Sam Sovacool on the camera, and the captain of our ship is Edwin Vereen. Dave, great to be joined by you. Two totally different teams that we were expecting to cover here at 10 o'clock at a different location as well, but here we are. It's a little chillier today than it was over at Victory Park yesterday, where you saw Avon take care of business in a rain-shortened game. We will see Avon again here this morning here on their home turf as they take on the Lake Blue Streaks. Going to be an interesting Saturday morning, Dave.
Absolutely, as we've had to change our lineup cards a few times getting ready for today's broadcast, but we're happy to bring you a local team here in Lorain County as the Avon Eagles were victorious yesterday by a score of 4-3 in a shortened, rain-out game. Only played 3 innings, Bull, and I was surprised that both coaches agreed to just let it go because of the safety of the kids, as it was back and forth. I mean, Hoban scored 2 in the first. Avon came back and scored 2. So we were tied after the first inning. And then that second inning, Hoban put 1 more up on the board, and then Avon came back, led by Maria Young, who was on the mound, and then also had the game-winning hit, an RBI, 2 RBI single to win the game, 4-3. She went back out there for the top of the third, and both coaches said, we've seen enough.
Well, we'll get to the starting lineups here in just a moment. Today's contest of the Prebis Tournament here on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by the Elyria Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, Network Land Title Agency in Elyria, Zach Simonoff for Judge, Victory Park in North Ridgeville, and Smitty's Place in Elyria. The records for both teams coming in. Dave talked about the Avon win yesterday over Hoban. They're now 9-6, and entering play today, the Lake Blue Streaks are 10-4-1. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Lake Blue Streaks. We mentioned that 10-4-1 record. Their lineup brought to you by Smitty's Place in Elyria, a family tradition since 1934. Stop by 368 East Bridge Street in Elyria and grab a famous Smitty burger today. Smitty's Place, where friends go to meet. Leading off for Lake will be the shortstop, Olivia Brown. Batting second, left fielder Aubrey Eisel. Batting third, center fielder Olivia Dreyer. At second base and cleaning up, Kenna Miller. Batting fifth in right field, Michaela Props. First baseman Courtney Coley in the sixth spot. Hitting seventh and pitching, Peyton Urey. The catcher, Bree Handy, bats eighth. And rounding out the lineup, the DP, Emily Hoisington. We'll flip that lineup card over now and take a look at the Avon Eagles starting lineup. Their lineup brought to you by Network Land Title Agency in Elyria. Over 200 years of combined experience providing exceptional title and escrow services. Call Judy Glenn at 440-322-5300 or visit them online at networklandtitle.com. Jocelyn Oakes is the shortstop. She leads off. Batting second, center fielder Lauren Fisher. The pitcher, Maria Young, bats third. Cleaning up, first baseman Jada Smith. Natalie Thomas, the second baseman of the 5 spot. Jordan Ash, the DP, hitting sixth. The third baseman, Lauren Robinson, in the 7th spot. Maddie Freed, the catcher, bats eighth. And Leah Stanford is in right field, batting ninth. Umpires for our game today, Rick Anthony calling balls and strikes. And Ron Gaw is on the bases. It'll be a little chilly to start this one.
But the field conditions are great as we're playing on turf here today, so you don't have to worry about that being an issue. There's no rain in the forecast, so we're good to go. I'm going to go out on a limb, Bull, and say we're going to play more than 2 innings here today.
Let's hope so. First pitch of the contest, caught on and missed for strike one, and we are underway. First pitch delivered at 10:03. Game time temperature of 48 degrees. It feels a little bit cooler than that. It's a tad breezy, but certainly not bad. We've got overcast skies. Young delivers, shows bunt, does Olivia Brown, tried to pull it back, and she got a piece of that, sending it foul.
They're actually going to say it hit her, Bull.
Oh, they're going to say that plunked her. Okay, so she'll head on down to first base. So Olivia Brown is aboard. She's hit by the pitch, and right away the Blue Streaks have one on for Aubrey Eisel. Seven seniors on this Lake Blue Streaks team. And that starting lineup is primarily made up of mostly sophomores and seniors.
Back-to-back lefties to start the game for the Blue Streaks.
Maria Young delivers. She shows bunt, hits off the edge of the catcher, Maddie Freed's glove, and on her way to second base is Olivia Brown. She will get there easily. Olivia Brown is committed to play at the next level. She's playing at Akron. Young unloads the next offering, and that's in there for a strike. Big secondary lead taken by Brown at second base, but she will stay put.
Perfect.
So it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Isla, sophomore, considered a bit of a slapper. She slaps one toward the left side of the infield. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. Brown around third. She's going to score. On her way to second, advancing on the throw is Aubrey Isel. A slap single into left field to score Brown, and that will give Lake an early 1-0 lead.
And this is our first time checking out the Blue Streaks, and you can tell they have speed to burn, Bull, as they are moving around these bases. It's going to be something that definitely Avon's going to have to keep an eye on.
In comes the third batter in the order in Olivia Dreher. A speedy center fielder to go right along with that theme that you mentioned, Dave. That's tipped foul right back to the screen. It begins at 0-1 on Dreher. Coach Grace Franjesevic is the head coach of the Lake Blue Streaks, but she is gone today. She's actually the matron of honor at one of her best friend's weddings, so she misses the entire weekend of action at the Prebis tournament. The next pitch misses down too low, went in too tight. It's 1-1. Taking over the coaching duties are Jeff Franklin and Crystal Palfy. Palfy is in that third base coach's box. 1-1 at the dish on Olivia Dreher. Here it comes. That's a fastball, and it's called strike 2.
And just like early on, Bull, Maria Young had to settle in after that first inning, and it looks like today as well. She's looking to get warmed up here as both teams have been adjusting on the fly. As you mentioned, we were supposed to be in North Ridgeville at Victory Park, but now Avon's got a home game.
Yeah, they have 2 home games.
You're right.
We'll have the second one for you. They'll take on Otsego in the second game. Young offers up, a swing and a miss, blew a fastball right by her for strike 3, so she's able to sit down Olivia Dreher for the first out of the morning. A 5-pitch K. Runner remains at second with 1 gone now for the cleanup batter, Kenna Miller. Takes an off-speed pitch for a called strike. Kenna Miller, a sophomore. She was a varsity player as a freshman last year, very powerful hitter. Young winds and deals, and she misses upstairs. We mentioned the experience with 7 seniors on this team. A very quick team, as Dave alluded to earlier. Fastball called strike 2. Coach Franjesevic was saying earlier this week that, you know, they've got so much speed. They put all their girls into 2 different groups in conditioning, and there really is little to no separation between those 2 groups as far as that team speed goes. A late cut and a miss.
Back-to-back Ks, Bull.
Strike 3, and you know what? Mariah Young doing a nice job of really changing speeds and working both sides of the plate. Puts her away with a heater. 2 down now, back-to-back strikeouts, as Dave mentioned, and here comes Michaela Props.
Another lefty in the lineup.
Young's first pitch in there, strike. Sophomore, right fielder Michaela Props. Getting a lot of consistency and confidence as a starter. Second highest average in the team. Ground ball hit softly down to third. Picked up by Jada Smith. She throws across to first base. And they're not able to get it there quite in time.
We had an angle here on the third base side. Looked like it was going to be in time on the throw from the third baseman, Lauren Robinson. But give Michaela some props for running out that base.
You walked right into that one. Right into it. Well done. I'm proud of you for not letting that opportunity slip. It's an infield single, putting runners at the corners, 2 down. Swung on and tapped foul into the turf right behind home plate. So yet again, Maria Young getting ahead. She's actually gotten ahead of every batter with the exception of the 2-hole hitter, Aubrey Eisel. Right now, her RBI single is the difference in this game.
Maria Young was our Big Frog custom t-shirt player of the game yesterday.
Next one is hit foul behind home plate.
As she picked up the win on the mound and helped herself out with an RBI, 2 RBI single to win the game.
Second John Hancock on that bat, right? Or the baseball and softball bats separate?
Nope, she definitely got to sign it as well as a picture.
The next pitch is lined back to the mound, and it's snagged by Maria Young, and that will end the inning. Well, it could have been a heck of a lot worse for Maria Young. She does surrender a couple of hits in 1 run, an RBI base hit to Aubrey Eisel after a half inning of play. Lake leading Avon 1-0. It's live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. An early 1-0 lead. Lake Blue Streaks on top of the Avon Eagles here at the Prebis tournament. An RBI base hit for Aubrey Eisel is the difference in this one. Coming up here in the home half of the first inning, it'll be Jocelyn Oakes, Lauren Fisher, and Maria Young due up to face Peyton Urey, who is in the circle for game 1 here today. Andy Bolbarch joined alongside Dave Rivera, Edwin Vereen, our director, Sam Sovicol working the camera today. Once again, 3/4 of the Lorain County's 4 horsemen, but you know what? There's always an honorary 4th. Dave Rivera gets to be that honorary 4th here today.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm glad the weather is holding up. You know, a little muddy, but we came prepared, and we're going to make this thing work as we want to spotlight girls high school softball here in Lorain County. 3 teams, Bull, ranked in the top 10 of the AP state poll, and it shows just how good girls softball is here in Lorain County.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and I think it's no secret in these parts anyways. It's routinely very good. I feel like a lot of times you talk about some of the usual suspects. You know, Elyria had that great run in the 20-teens and into the early stages of the 2020s, and you know, Keystone always a perennial powerhouse. Amherst always a perennial powerhouse. Elyria Catholic out to an amazing start this season. Jocelyn Oakes, the batter, standing in, swinging away from the right side. Peyton Urey deals, and that one misses low for a ball. They've got 2 pitchers, Gianna Greathouse and Urey, and they kind of fluctuate based on the matchups that they see. The next pitch is called a strike.
Do you find that common, Bull, in softball? Because Avon's the same way.
It really all depends on the program. I think some programs are deep enough that they can afford to do that. Some can't. The smaller schools don't really have the luxury of doing that. Fastball called strike 2. Urey is considered more of a spin pitcher. Has a fastball in the upper 50s. Also a strong rise ball and a curveball. Next pitch misses upstairs. But, you know, that's one of the major differences, right, between baseball and softball. I mean, softball you can throw all day because of the way you throw them, and you can throw 2 or 3 games a day, no big deal. The next pitch is up but outside. The count runs full. And in many ways, I think that's what makes it great, because it makes it unique. You know, you don't necessarily have to have a deep pitching roster. Next pitch is up and outside, ball 4. So a very patient approach at the plate by Jocelyn Oakes. She was behind 1 and 2, and then she took 3 straight to earn her way aboard. In comes Lauren Fisher. Avon Eagles enter this game at 9 and 6 after that win over Holben yesterday. And of course, Dave talked about it a few minutes ago. They're involved in that SWC, a very powerful conference. Bunt laid down. That'll get the runner over to second base. Jocelyn Oakes advances to second. Lauren Fisher puts that sacrifice down. So now the Eagles have one at second with one away for Maria Young.
Hard to believe Maria Young, just a freshman, Bull, as she has been the workhorse here for Avon this season and also has a mean bat at the plate.
First pitch to her is low for a ball. Coach Matusak talked about her a little bit during the coaches show we had at Smitty's a few weeks back. Because at that point, they had put together back-to-back wins early in the season. Keep in mind, those were in extremely adverse conditions. The week we were doing that show, it was really cold outside. The next pitch, Young will take one high and away for ball 2, but he had great things to say about her then, even at the early stages of the season, because 3 weeks back, when we did that coaches show, she had just made her varsity debut. She awaits the 2-0. She hits this one in the air, shallow center field. Coming on in center is Olivia Dreyer. She'll make the catch. That was not deep enough to advance the runners, so Oaks will have to stay at second. And that is a real nice get for Peyton Urey because she fell behind a really good hitter, 2-0. And when you fall behind in a hitter's count, sometimes you have to go back in their wheelhouse a bit. But Maria Young not able to do much with that. Here comes Jada Smith. She tips one foul that hit off the catcher Bree Handy's glove. It's 0-1.
Jada Smith's been the hero for Avon a lot of these games as they played just 2 days ago, and she had the winning hit to get the victory. Didn't do much yesterday. I think, temperatures and field condition had a little bit of something to do with that. Looking for a big game today for Jada Smith playing first base today.
The 0-1 to her. Gets enough of the outer half. Runner takes off for third, and they got her. Nice throw by Bree Handy. Bellabar put the tag on, and they get Jocelyn Oaks over at third to end the inning. So that'll do it for the Eagles here in the home half of the first. After one, Avon trails Lake 1-0 here at the Prebis tournament. We're at Avon High School today. We're live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top of the second for Lake. It'll be the bottom third of the order due up. Peyton Urey, Bree Handy, and Emily Hoisington to face Maria Young. An RBI base hit for Aubrey Eisel is the difference in this one. Lake leads Avon 1-0 at the end of one. First pitch to Urey, way upstairs for a ball. Andy Bullbarch and Dave Rivera on the call for you. Edwin Vereen, the captain of our ship, he's directing. Sam Sovacool working the camera.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's completely free. Thanks to all of our sponsors here today. You can catch the replays whenever you want, as well as this live production we're bringing to you on this Saturday morning.
A little chilly, but certainly not bad. We've all been through worse. There's no question about that. The all-turf surface here at Avon most definitely helps. 1-1, a cut and a miss for strike two. Blew a fastball right by her.
Games being held across Lorain County, like you mentioned, Bull. Elyria Catholic hosting some games. North Ridgeville hosting some games here today as everybody chipped in with the field conditions being not playable at Victory Park.
1-2 is sent back to the screen foul. Still a ball to 2 strikes on Peyton Urey. You're starting to see more and more of these turf surfaces pop up, and for a while that was considered taboo in the softball world, but now it's becoming more of a thing. Fastball called, strike 3. Urey goes down looking. Maria Young has her third strikeout of the morning. A 5-pitch K. Nobody on, 1 down now for Bree Handy.
Bull, I think every high school, if they're able to afford it, obviously should look into getting some type of turf, whether it's in the infield only, because with our weather here in Ohio, it's been hit and miss.
You would get no argument from me.
Yep.
I think that if you are north of the Mason-Dixon line, like you said, if you can afford to do it, I think it's an absolute must. Otherwise, you miss out on a lot of games. And that just makes it really tough on all parties involved. Heater called a strike. So it's a 1-1 count now on Bree Handy. And I think it takes you time to get used to it. Not only a few weeks ago talking with Coach Matusak, but last year he talked about it as well. As the next one is hit well, high and deep to left field. Fozzie going back, looks up and watches that one soar over the wall. It is gone.
Wow, solo shot there for Bree Handy as she got all of that one.
Bree Handy with the bomb, deposited that one over the scoreboard in left field. A solo shot, as Dave mentioned, that doubles the Lake lead. It's 2-0 Blue Streaks here at the top of the second.
Unbelievable right there. Turned the hips, got all the power into that one, and there she goes.
So in comes the 9-hole hitter, Emily Hoisington, designated player. She takes a look at the first one, called a strike. You mentioned this before the game began, but yesterday, Maria Young, the player of the game for Avon, but in that game too, got out to a bit of a slow start. And look, when the conditions are what they are, it can be a little bit tougher to kind of find your groove. Bree Handy clearly had no issues finding her groove as she sacked the third pitch that she saw over the wall in left field. These are always tough conditions to hit in. The next pitch is tipped foul. It's a ball and 2 strikes. And I think any pitcher would tell you they don't mind pitching in these conditions because as a hitter, sometimes you get stiff. It's tough to stay loose.
And looking at the weather and the wind, well, that home run was against the wind.
Yeah, all the more impressive. But you could tell just some sound a little bit different. That sounded way different. Off-speed pitch, swung out and missed, strike 3. Kept her off balance. Hoisington goes down swinging. 4 strikeouts, first time through the order for Young. Nobody on and 2 away, back to the top of the Lake batting order for Olivia Brown.
Hit by a pitch in the first inning to start this game off.
Maria Young offers up the first one. It's low for a ball. This inning of softball tournament action here at the Prebis tournament is brought to you by the Elyria Post of the Ohio Highway State Patrol. April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol is reminding everyone to stay in the game, stay focused, and never drive distracted. And the next pitch is lined to right field, base hit. Olivia Brown on for a second time as she laces a single into right field. That's 4 hits now for the Blue Streaks. That'll bring in Aubrey Eisel with that RBI base hitter, first time through the order. The pitch on the way, she shows bunt, pulls it back, runner takes off for second, no throw will be made down there. Great jump by Olivia Brown, and that ball was in the turf, albeit for just a brief moment, but that was all Brown needed to get to second.
Yeah, she was going no matter where that pitch was as she took off immediately.
Juanando back at the plate. Here it comes. That one hit off the edge of the catcher's glove. It's called a strike. The speed of Brown, I think, very evident in this game. Coach Franjesevic told us earlier in the week she's the fastest on the team by far. She reads defenses very well, knows exactly where to go with every pitch that comes her way as the next one is hit foul. She's a leader by example, one of the senior captains on this team. Academically in the top 25 in her class. A chance here to score for a second time as she's on second base. Meanwhile, a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Eisel. She tries to slap one, but she taps it foul. No, and in some ways, when you play on turf, teams that are quicker and considered somewhat slappy, it can work for you. It can also work against you. As that one is pounded into the turf right in front of home plate, and it is picked up in fair territory by the catcher, Maddie Freed. That stopped dead in its tracks, maybe a quarter of the way up the line.
She was hoping it was going to roll foul and gave it a few minutes to see if it would turn, but that turf just deadened it, like you said, and left a perfect bunt right there in front of home plate.
So now they've got runners at the corners with 2 away for Olivia Dreyer. Dreyer fouls it right back to the screen. Well, and turf can do that to you, right? I mean, usually on dirt, that probably rolls foul. You never know. There are always some, but on turf, there's usually a pretty good chance if you hit that fair, it's probably going to stay fair. There's some moisture on the turf as well as the next one is lined foul. It hit off the wall in foul territory on that first base side. And the umpires talked about that a little bit in our discussion before the game, too. You know, they certainly like calling games on turf because you're not cleaning things off every 15 seconds. Every now and again, you might have to dry the ball off because the carpet picks up a little bit more moisture. The 0-2. And that one did miss by much. It missed high. Runner takes off for second, gets there on indifference. Dreyer struck out her first time through the order. The next pitch gets a small piece of that one, sending it foul, as that one actually stopped almost in the exact same spot that the bunt base hit Aubrey Isels did, but that one rolled just to the right of that first baseline.
Looked like a check swing there, Bull, where she wanted to pull back, but actually got a little piece of it.
It looked like maybe she was fooled, but she covered enough of the plate to stay alive, as the next one is spoiled foul to the right. Boy, staying alive here. I mean, she's done a really nice job of, as we said, covering the plate. She's fouled off 4 pitches in this at-bat. A chance here to expand on this 2-0 lead for Lake.
2 on, 2 out here in the top of the second.
The next pitch, chopped foul again. And even that one she got a pretty good piece of. Well, Lake is always a powerhouse in softball. Tough to ignore what they've done in recent years, as the next one misses up high. And probably not a bad idea there. Probably had one to waste after she fouled off a few. Count now even at 2-2.
You can see that off-speed pitch just got a little bit away from Maria Young.
Young's 2-2 fastball is high. Boy, what an at-bat put together by Olivia Dreyer here. She's coming up on the 9th pitch of this battle against Maria Young. Runners on second and third and 2 gone. Here it comes. Swung on and tapped foul. She got a small piece of it to stay alive. Boy, what a battle. And against a team like Lake, a 2-run deficit certainly not insurmountable, but with the team speed that we've talked about a lot, a base hit here probably plates a pair, and then you're looking at a 4-run deficit, so this is a huge moment here. Young trying to put her away. The pitch to Dreyer, swung on, line to first. It's knocked down by Jada Smith. It goes into foul territory, and they're not going to get her. 2 runs are going to score. The throw from first base goes right behind home plate, and that'll put Dreyer on second. So a big 2-out hit plates 2 more runs for Lake. Olivia Brown, Aubrey Isel both score, and the Blue Streaks have a 4-0 lead. That brings in the cleanup hitter, Kenna Miller. First pitch to her is called a strike. Well, how about that battle? Olivia Dreyer wins a 10-pitch encounter with Maria Young and knocks in 2 on a line drive to first base. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Well, a tough one to take for Avon, no doubt about that. But that ball was hit very well.
Young needs this one right here to get out of this inning.
The next pitch is skied foul behind home plate. That'll get out of play.
Can't say enough about the beautiful facilities here at Avon High School, nestled in the back of the high school where they're getting some construction done. Just a great atmosphere as we're surrounded by the woods and the forest.
Next pitch is popped up on the infield. Third baseman Lauren Robinson's there to take care of it, and that will end the inning. However, the Blue Streaks strike for 3 here in the second, getting 2 on a 2-out base hit from Olivia Dreyer, and the other run coming on a solo shot from Bree Handy. 4-0 Blue Streaks. They lead Avon after 1.5. We are live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Entering the bottom of the second, Lake with a 4-0 lead on Avon here at the Prebis softball tournament. Andy Bolbarch, Dave Rivera with you on the call. Edwin Vereen directing, Sam Silvacole on the camera. Middle third of the order due up for Avon. Jada Smith leads it off, pops one up back this direction. It'll be out of play. Landing just a few feet behind Dave Rivera. He was ready to catch that one.
Yeah, we didn't have the tent set up today as we did yesterday, and a little bit of protection for us at North Ridgeville, but today, we definitely have our head on a swivel.
No choice.
Yep.
0-1 the count on Jada Smith. Cleanup hitting first baseman. Waits on the second one from Peyton Urey. And here it comes. Fouls it right back to the screen. It's quickly 0-2. It took a dozen pitches for Peyton Urey to get through the top of that batting order for Avon back in the first inning. And that inning actually ended with Jocelyn Oakes thrown out trying to steal third base. So she actually threw a couple of pitches to Jada Smith in that inning. The next one's a little bit low. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Jada Smith, senior captain, entered the tournament with 3 bombs, hitting .366 on the year. Urey deals. It's up high, ball 2. Coach Matusak's team took care of Keystone earlier this season, 10-0. The next one is waved and missed after strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Peyton Urey. She sits down Jada Smith. And look, I bring that Keystone score up because I think everybody knows that that's really kind of the measuring stick, or at least it has been. You know, in recent years, over the, you know, like when you beat Keystone 10-0, that's an eye opener.
The SWC is so tough, man, with North Ridgeville and Amherst already ranked in the top 10, and Avon not far away as well. Night in, night out in the SWC, man, the competition is unreal.
I don't think anybody would argue that. I mean, look, you're talking about 2 teams that went pretty deep last year. The Avon had a nice little run, but with Amherst and North Ridgeville going as far as they did, ground ball hit back up the middle. Picked up it short by Olivia Brown. She'll fire on to first, and they'll retire Natalie Thomas for the second out of the inning. And with 2 down, the bases are empty for Jordan Ash. Well, again, this inning of softball action at the Prebis tournament here on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by the Elyria Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Jordan Ash looking at that first pitch. It's called a strike at the knees. April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol is reminding everyone to stay in the game, stay focused, never drive distracted. Next pitch is upstairs. Jordan Ash is the DP for this contest. Avon has another game coming up. We'll have that for you as well here as they take on Otsego. Slated for a noon first pitch. Uri's next pitch, waved and missed at strike 2. Ash came into this tournament hitting .375 on the year. Typically an infielder, but has this game off defensively as the designated player. Uri fires one down too low. And the count goes to 2-2. Deuces are wild here on Jordan Ash. Lauren Robinson hoping for an opportunity in the on-deck circle. Avon in a 4-0 hole against Lake. Time was called by the home plate umpire, Rick Anthony. And I think Jordan Ash didn't want to wait any longer. She'll look at one high and away. The count goes full. And I think you'll see a lot of that today. You know, if batters are standing still too long in that box, especially for an early morning game like this with temps in the 40s, they're not going to sit around too long. Next pitch is high and tight, ball 4. Jordan Ash will make her way down to first base. Second free pass issued by Peyton Uri. And that's one somewhat similar to the first walk that she issued. She was ahead in that count 1 and 2, but then missed with 3 straight pitches. In comes Lauren Robinson. The pitch to her. And that gets enough of the outer half to be called a strike.
Avon Eagles being patient at the plate here the second time around, trying to make Uri work for everything she does up there on the mound.
She's working with a 4-0 cushion currently. The next pitch cut on and missed for strike 2. Lauren Robinson, another senior captain. Lauren Fisher, Jada Smith, as we mentioned earlier, and Robinson, the 3 captains on this team. Tried to check her swing at a fastball, but she went around too far for strike 3. Another scoreless inning turned in by Peyton Uri at the end of 2. Lake leads Avon 4-0 here at the Prebis Softball Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Into the 3rd inning we go. Lake working on a 4-0 lead. They're on top of Avon here at the Prebis Softball Tournament. Batters 5, 6, and 7. Michaela Props, Courtney Colai, Peyton Uri due up to face Maria Young. First pitch to the frame. She showed bunt, went around too far for a strike. Lake with an RBI base hit from Aubrey Isel in the 1st inning. Gave them an early advantage. And then they scored 3 times in the 2nd. It started with a solo homer from Bree Handy. Smashed it over the wall and left into the teeth of the wind. And then a 2-out, 2-run base hit from Olivia Dreyer. Gave them their last 2 runs. It's called strike 2. That next pitch looked like she was trying to slap one down, then yanked it back at the last moment. But home plate umpire Rick Anthony says strike 2. Young winds and delivers. This is hit on the ground down to 3rd. Picked up by Smith. She fires down to first base, not in time. And there's that blazing team speed on display again for Lake. That's the 2nd time today Michaela Props has legged out an infield single.
And that was a routine ball hit to Lauren Robinson. She fielded it exactly how you should and got rid of it just on time. But it just shows the speed that the Blue Streaks have.
And on turf, that ball typically gets to you a lot faster when you're at 3rd base. Not just 3rd, it gets to you faster anywhere. Ground ball hit past the diving Robinson at third. Into left field it goes. Base hit. A rocket shot off the bat of Courtney Colai. Back-to-back base hits for Props and Colai to start the third. And now the Blue Streaks with 8 hits in this game, 2 on, and nobody out for Peyton Urey. A chance to help herself out a little bit here. First pitch, it's low but in too tight for a ball. Well, Lake taking on Avon in this one, and that was supposed to be the 10 a.m. matchup at Victory Park. And then they were slated to play against Amherst as the next one is hit on a hop to second base, picked up by Natalie Thomas. They're able to get the runner at second. However, everybody else is safe as Michaela Props advances from second to third. Peyton Urey will reach on the fielder's choice. Colai retired on the force out at second. And now Lake with runners at the corners and one away for Bree Handy. Built at a solo bomb to left field. Her first time up, runner takes off for second. No throw made from the catcher, Maddie Freed. So Urey gets down to second with no issue whatsoever. The next pitch popped up back this direction. That'll land out of play behind us and to our right.
And I was trying to see if Lake even got a game in yesterday, if they were slated for the 5 o'clock start or for the 7.
Yeah, the 7s did not play,
the
right?
The 7s did not play.
And only some of the 5 o'clock games got deep enough in.
Yep.
The next pitch is hit in the air, center of the infield. That'll get down for a base hit. It'll plate at least one, and they'll throw up the stop sign for Peyton Urey at third base. Michaela Props will come home. Bree Handy with an RBI base hit. She's driven in 2 so far today. And the Blue Streaks now have a 5-0 lead. So the hits keep on coming for the Blue Streaks. And the 9-hole hitter, Emily Hoisington, stands in. First pitch to her is a called strike.
And Lake is just so aggressive on the base paths, daring catcher Maddie Freed to make a play.
They were scheduled to play Amherst at noon today. Not sure if that's still going on. Again, a lot of changes.
Nope.
That's been wiped away?
I don't think that they're going to be traveling. The setup today is a round robin between the 3 teams here.
Okay, gotcha.
So they'll have the noon game off, and then they'll play again at 2 against Otsego.
Gotcha. So a swing and a miss for strike 2. That Amherst Lake matchup could have been a really good one.
Yeah, we were slated to have that one for you, but you could thank Mother Nature for that.
Yeah, well, she does that to us this time of year. She'll give us 70 and sunshine one day,
yep.
45 and cloudy the next. Fastball high and outside.
Even the Guardians got rained out yesterday, Bull. They got a doubleheader today.
So I saw the release that they got rained out. Then I turned you on. I thought, well, that's crazy, isn't it? You guys are called a softball game, and yet they can't play downtown. Just weird how that works sometimes. Hoisington tried to hold up on a fastball. She went around too far for strike 3. So make it a handful of strikeouts for Maria Young. She gets the second out of this third inning. 2 gone, back to the top of the order we go for Olivia Brown. At twin bill for the Guardians today, high noon and then 6 o'clock. A slap ground ball hit towards short, fielded by Oaks. She throws over to first base, and she'll get it there in time to retire Olivia Brown. So Maria Young able to minimize the damage here in the third. An inning that began with back-to-back base hits. The Blue Streaks do plate 1, an RBI single from Bree Handy. They lead 5-0 after 2.5. This is the Prebis softball tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Last of the third, Avon in a 5-0 hole against the Lake Blue Streaks. Batters 8, 9, and 1. Maddie Freed, Leah Stanford, and Jocelyn Oakes to face Peyton Urey. 2 scoreless innings of work for her. Couple of strikeouts, couple of free passes. She's yet to surrender a hit. We're at the Prebis softball tournament over here at Avon High School today. One more game to call at the end of this one with Otsego taking on the Eagles. A high noon first pitch. Urey deals, and that one misses away for a ball. 28 pitches total thrown in those first 2 innings by Urey. 16 strikes, so doing a nice job of staying ahead and around the zone as the next pitch is up high, ball 2. Lake came into this at 10-4-1. Avon at 9-6. So the record's somewhat similar, pretty close. The next pitch to Freed, taken high, ball 3.
You know, we've been impressed by the Blue Streak speed on the base pass today, but I'm more impressive with first baseman Courtney Colai with the short sleeve jersey.
Yeah.
Showing you that mental toughness can conquer all.
3-0 pitch. And that misses away, ball 4. But, you know, it's interesting you say that because we say that with some truth and jest in there, right?
Yep.
I mean,
we're sitting here freezing. We got hats and gloves on.
Right. And you're right. She's out there with that sleeveless jersey. But, you know, in talking to a lot of those coaches at the coaches show at Smitty's a few weeks back, it felt like they valued the mental toughness.
You need it.
Yeah, to overcome some of the things that you have to overcome in spring sports. It's just a necessity. In a game where, look, a lot of times you're not going to hit safely, right? It's a game of failure. You know, Coach Piazza had talked about that. Look, I mean, you succeed 4 out of every 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And it just takes a different kind of mentality to succeed in that environment.
You know, we've talked about this internally about maybe switching softball and baseball to a fall sport so that they could actually get more games in. I mean, soccer could easily switch over to a spring sport and you could still get the majority of your games in. I know OHSAA is doing some finagling right now as far as the playoffs go and the divisional lineups, but that's something I would like to toss at them.
Stanford looks at one upstairs. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Look, I think there are a lot of people that would agree with that based on the conditions. I mean, in the fall, usually the weather's fantastic until you get to the postseason.
Yes.
And then that throws a bit of a curveball or 2 at you. Stanford shows bunt, pulls it back. It's called a strike. I mean, I think if you started it early enough and you got to the postseason a little bit faster, maybe you don't face as many of those. But there are a lot of other things that would certainly have to change. Fastball called, strike 3 on Leah Stanford. She goes down looking. Make it 3 strikeouts. You know, travel ball always gets talked about when it comes to baseball and softball. And sometimes those seasons will go deep into July, and because of that, maybe there's not as big of a window. But again, those are all things you could restructure at some point. Jocelyn Oakes will take one away for a ball. I'm with you, though.
You know, they schedule 22 games for baseball and softball. I couldn't tell you the last time that they've gotten 22 games in a season.
Yep, unless you're counting the postseason, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to get your minimum games in to even get fielded, right?
Right. Well, you know, I know this is something we'll discuss not only through the rest of this game, but the next broadcast as well. It's one of the draws of this tournament. You see the best of the state come to this tournament. And a lot of times it happens at a point of the year where the weather is typically nicer. As Oakes cuts and misses for strike 2.
And we can go back to last year because the same thing happened last year.
And it's not just the climate we're talking about. It also comes right around the time of the tournament draw, which is 1 week from tomorrow for softball. Peyton Urey's next pitch is a fastball high, but that's one of the things a lot of the coaches will tell you about this tournament. They want to know where they stack up against a lot of other teams in and across the state. And if you can beat one of those teams, maybe that helps you out just before the tournament draw.
It's a good measuring stick
Yeah.
to see exactly where your team stands.
Fastball low and away. The count goes full now on Jocelyn Oaks, who walked her first time up. 5-0 lead for Lake over Avon, bottom of the third. Jocelyn Oaks, the batter. Payoff pitch to her, fouled away.
She reached in the first inning on a walk. Just her second at-bat attempt right now, but battling through this one with Uri.
Well, and for Lake, coming over from Uniontown, it's a little ways away. It's not crazy far, but it's a bit of a drive. Fastball high, ball four.
Talking to head coach of Otsego, Jason Collier, before the game today, and he asked me, where's Uniontown even located?
It's in the Akron-Canton area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
not too far from Green. It's in that general vicinity.
we actually went there and covered a basketball game there as Columbia was playing at Uniontown Lake, the girls basketball team. So I am familiar. I did travel down there with my partner, John Guzik, who I'm sure is watching here on the YouTube stream. Beautiful facilities down there in Uniontown.
Lauren Fisher looks at a strike. A chance here for Avon to strike. Oddly enough, Peyton Uri has walked a few batters in this game, but they've not come back to haunt her.
No.
Fastball misses up high. And Coach Franjesevic had told me that it had been a few years since they last played in the Prebis tournament. As a matter of fact, it had been 4 years. She was an assistant coach at the time. The next pitch is hit foul right through that third base coach's box. And it made Coach Matusak do a bit of a dance to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things she said that, when she was an assistant coach, I think it was back in 2021 they were here. They were a bit down that year. They were young, trying to learn the game. They lost 3 games. And it said, it's a lot of travel to play some really good teams. She figured this team was positioned well to do well at this tournament as Lauren Fisher swings and misses for strike 3. Another K for Peyton Uri. Starting to pile up now. She's got 4. And with 2 away, runners remain at first and second for Avon. And here's Maria Young,
who could use a timely hit right now like she did yesterday to help her cause on the mound.
She swings and sends it foul. It's 0-1.
As Uri working the inside of the plate, jammed Maria Young real good. And she just got the handle in the bottom part of the bat on the ball.
And that'll sting on a day like this for sure. Back in the day, they used to have those little gel pads you could put on your thumb to absorb some of that sting.
You don't see many guys using those nowadays.
Nope, not anymore. They're on to different forms of technology. Maria Young, we've talked about her numbers in the circle, but a .465 average going into play yesterday.
A name you're going to hear for the next 3 years here in Lorain County as only a freshman is Maria Young.
She takes down too low and away, 2 balls and 1 strike now on Young. Well, Avon could use a little 2-out bingo here just to chip away at that Lake advantage. Blue Streaks with at least 1 run in the first 3 frames. The next one is spoiled foul. Well, she didn't miss it by much. Got a pretty good piece of it, but could only send it foul.
And I think Avon needs a confidence builder here, Bull.
Yeah.
Something to build on. Maybe you get 1 or 2 and you're okay now. You're back in this thing. Down 5-0. Looking bleak for Avon.
Young pops this one up. Right side of the infield, Colai, the first baseman, will take care of it in fair territory right along the line behind the bag, and the inning is over. So Peyton Uri works out of trouble here in the third at the end of 3. Avon still trailing Lake 5-0 here at the Prebis Softball Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top of the fourth inning. Lake leading 5-0 over Avon. Aubrey Isol, Olivia Dreyer, and Kenna Miller due up to face Maria Young. We're at the Prebis softball tournament. We're live and free on the Lorain County Sports Network. First pitch is bunted foul. Well, this inning of the Prebis softball tournament here on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by Network Land Title Agency in Elyria. Over 200 years of combined experience providing exceptional title and escrow services. Call Judy Glenn at 440-322-5300 or go online to networklandtitle.com. That's networklandtitle.com. Wind picking up just a little. It's supposed to get a little bit warmer today, albeit not much.
And wind conditions blowing in here on the field.
Aubrey Isol has a couple of hits today. Fastball called, strike two. An RBI single through the left side back of the first inning. And then she had that base hit that trickled up the first baseline, picked up maybe a quarter of the way down the line by Maddie Freed. She slaps one left side of the infield, picked up at short by Oaks. Strong throw over to first base, and she gets it there in time to retire Aubrey Isol. Well, and you just don't have a whole lot of time to hesitate, Dave. I mean, you just, the team speed of Lake.
Bang, bang. Every play, it seems like Avon is forced to rush the fielding and the throw to get the Blue Streaks runners.
Next pitch is spoiled foul behind home plate. You mentioned that, you know, with the different teams dispersing from Victory Park and going into different locations and the schedules changing today, Lake will have some time off at the end of this game before they play a little later on at 2 o'clock today. Off speed, taken low, went outside, ball one. Sometimes teams love that because they get that cushion between games. But if you're playing well, sometimes you don't want that. You want to get right back out there and you want to play again and stay fresh. It's line foul.
Well, I think when it's 70 degrees and sunny is one thing, and when it's 50 degrees and cloudy is something totally different. It'd be interesting to see what the approach is from Lake High School. Do they stay out here and watch? Do they maybe go somewhere, get something to eat? You know, yeah. What is the strategy for that?
Go on down to Smitty's.
There you
go.
go.
Smitty burger. Not a bad idea. Knee-high fastball called, strike three. Dreyer goes down looking. 6 strikeouts now for Maria Young. Bases empty and 2 down. That'll bring the cleanup hitter McKenna Miller to the plate. But it's always a challenge when it's this cold outside. Pitch from Young, off speed, called a strike. I mean, you see it in every half inning. A lot of times the girls are going to go from the dugout, run down the foul pole, and then come right back just to try and stay a little looser.
Keep the blood flowing. I've considered it myself, Bull.
Off speed, called, strike two. It's not a bad idea. Buy you some extra time. We'll play a few extra spots between the breaks. Young's heater low, a ball and 2 strikes, trying to make it the first 1-2-3 inning today. Lake has scored in each of the first 3 innings, taking their 5-0 lead a little at a time. Fastball down and in. Well, there are games taking place over at LaGrange and North Ridgeville, over at EC, as Dave mentioned. Of course, we're here at Avon High School. The next pitch is pop foul off to the right.
Also got word they're hosting some at the Pipe Yard in Lorraine.
Wow. Okay, so they're all over the place.
Everybody, your opponent got switched, your field got switched. But we want to make it happen here for the Prebis Memorial Tournament.
Chopper hit back up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. So McKenna Miller able to split the seam in the middle of that Avon infield, and she's on with her first hit of the game. That's 9 altogether for the Blue Streaks. It keeps this inning alive for left-handed hitting Michaela Props. A couple of singles for her. Wanted to slap one to the left side, did not pull the trigger. The pitch was called a strike. Well, she's got 2 slap hits on the left side of the infield, legging out infield base hits. Young deals, and she hits this on the ground to third. It'll be picked up by Fisher. Throw to first base will get by Jada Smith. That ends up in foul territory around third base. Miller, she'll try to score, and she will do so standing up. Michaela Props goes all the way over to third.
And the throw was behind the base runner on the opposite side of the fair line. And the first baseman, Jada Smith, had no chance on getting that, as she would have collided right with Props in the base path.
Well, that makes it 6-0. And in comes Courtney Colai. She'll look at one low for a ball. But this is what Lake can do to you. They put a lot of pressure on the defense because of that team speed. It forces you to get to the ball earlier, get rid of it a little bit quicker.
And Lauren Robinson just rushed that throw on third base.
Who could blame her, though? Because Michaela Props had legged out 2 infield singles earlier in the game.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised the ball's not jumping off the turf a little faster, because that's always an adjustment that you hear from coaches that teams have to make if they're playing on it for the first time. You get the impression that some of the moisture maybe has affected that to some degree. Fastball up high, that's ball 4. Colai is on free of charge, reaching for the second time today. And now they've got runners at the corners with 2 gone for Peyton Urey.
I'd expect to see Courtney Colai take off on this first pitch and head down the second.
Pitch to Urey, gets enough of the inner half to be called strike 1. Now, Coach Matuszak has mentioned that the last couple of years. You know, he thinks that works to their advantage to some degree, because for a lot of teams that don't play on turf, they come here for the first time and it takes them an inning or 2 to get used to it. I mean, Lake clearly has had no problems playing on this surface whatsoever. Has not affected the girls one bit. And game speed is different than what you warm up and you practice on, right? It's totally different. The next pitch is hit foul.
And a lot of these teams, you know, we had talked about in the pregame, from far away distances, they spent the night here, Bull.
Yeah. Good friend of mine has a daughter that plays on the Perrysburg team, always a powerhouse.
Yep.
And he said they were half and half. Some of the girls were going to drive back to Perrysburg, some were going to stay here. Suppose it just depends on how far away you are, but you know, there's some tweeners there, right? Perrysburg, maybe an hour and a half-ish.
Yeah.
I know, and we were scheduled to do the Marlington EC game, and Coach Faulkner in Marlington said they were staying overnight. Knee-high fastball called, strike 3 on Urey, and that makes it 7 strikeouts for Maria Young. But the Blue Streaks strike for another 2-out run here in the 4th inning. At the end of 3.5, they lead Avon 6-0 here at the Prebis softball tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back at Avon High School, where the Eagles trail 6-0 to the Lake Blue Streaks. For Avon, it'll be batters 4, 5, and 6. Jada Smith, Natalie Thomas, and Jordan Ash due up. Peyton Urey offers up the first one. This is lined over the left fielder's head. That'll go off the wall on a hop. On her way to second base and getting there standing up is Jada Smith. That's the first hit of the game for the Eagles. A two-bagger for Jada Smith. She burned Aubrey Eisel in left field, sending it over her head. And Avon has their first hit of the game. It goes for extra bases.
I like the first pitch also taken by Jada Smith and driving it to deep left center field. Now let's see if Avon could get the bats going.
Yeah, they threatened here today, but to the credit of Peyton Urey, they've not been able to cash in. Ground ball hit softly, right side of the infield, dug up at second by Kenna Miller. She'll flip it over to first base to get the out. A productive one at that, though, as Natalie Thomas is able to advance Jada Smith over to third. The ground up is the first out of the inning, and again, attacking that first pitch, Dave, as you mentioned. Here's Jordan Ash. We'll see if she goes at it with the same approach. Urey offers up, and Ash cuts and misses for strike one. Ash walked her first time up. She was down 1-2 in the count, battled back to win the battle with a walk. Fastball down too low, 1-1. You get the impression Avon's absolutely got to get one across here. As the next one is outside, I mean, the chances are starting to look a little bleak here in the fourth inning, but if you can't squeeze one out of a leadoff double here,
you're back in the ball game.
Yeah, you can get at least one in.
Yep.
That gives you some life. Next one down around the shoot tops of Jordan Ash for ball 3. And it's not like they haven't had chances. They certainly have. There were 4 walks issued in the first 3 innings. The base runners were kind of scattered, but they did have chances. Peyton Urey trying to get on the same page as her catcher, Bree Handy. And it looked like they were off kilter for a moment looking at their wristbands. Next pitch, wave and a miss for strike 2. Leadoff two-bagger from Jada Smith. She made her way to third on the ground out from Natalie Thomas. Payoff pitch coming. Swing and a miss, strike 3, got her. Jordan Ash goes down swinging, 5th strikeout for Peyton Urey. 2 down, and there's Lauren Robinson. Well, this inning of softball action at the Prebis tournament brought to you by Network Land Title Agency in Elyria. Over 200 years of combined experience providing exceptional title and escrow services. Make sure you call Judy Glenn at 440-322-5300 or go online to networklandtitle.com. Robinson, a strikeout victim her first time up. Peyton Urey delivers. And that's upstairs for ball 2. Urey broke up the no-hit bid. Or had her no-hit bid broken up, rather, by Jada Smith's double to start the inning.
She's on third, hoping to get home, as you don't want to strand a runner here in this bottom of the 4th.
And they've left a few on in this game.
Also been picked off on the base pads.
A swing and a miss. And now the count's even to 2-2. Well, you have to admire Peyton Urey's ability to battle back, because she's fallen behind a number of times today and yet found a way to get back into the battle at the plate and win the bat. Next pitch is lined into center field, base hit. Avon's got their first run of the game. Lauren Robinson able to cash in on a 2-out base hit to score Jada Smith, and Avon's on the board. We're talking about the resolve of Peyton Urey, and she had really kind of come back to win the battle, even in counts where she'd fallen behind. But there, after falling behind 2-0, Lauren Robinson got her with a base hit to center. Maddie Freed trying to keep it going. She'll take upstairs a ball. 6-1, Avon down 5 to Lake. A free pass put Maddie Freed on back in the third inning. Good looking pitch, thigh high, called strike one. Maddie Freed, senior backstop, 308 hitter on the year with 1 bomb. She swings behind a fastball for strike 2.
Could use one of those bombs right here, Bull.
Yeah, that would certainly change the complexion of this game for sure. But Avon's offense showing some life in this inning with a couple of hits to produce their first run. Way upstairs. The count even at 2-2. Yuri able to get just enough on the outer half to be called strike 3. 2 strikeouts in this 4th inning for Peyton Yuri. She's able to get Maddie Freed looking. That will end the 4th. However, Avon able to get on the board on a 2-out base hit from Lauren Robinson to score Jada Smith. 6-1. Lake over Avon at the end of 4. We're at the Prebis tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top of the 5th inning here at Avon High School at the Prebis softball tournament. The Lake Blue Streaks leading Avon 6-1, 8-9-1. Batters due up Bree Handy, Emily Hoisington, and Olivia Brown to face Maria Young. Avon got on the board, bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch up, high a ball. This inning of softball action at the Prebis softball tournament here on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by Zach Simonoff for Judge. With over 26 years as an attorney in Lorain County, Zach Simonoff is running for judge of the Oberlin Municipal Court. Visit SimonoffForJudge.com. That's SimonoffForJudge.com. Paid for by the Simonoff for Judge Committee. Bree Handy with a solo homer and an RBI base hit today. A real nice day at the dish so far. There's a knee-high fastball first strike, and it's 1-1. Maria Young with 7 strikeouts today. This Lake offense has gone to work with 9 hits to this point. Takes an off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1. The breeze has been occasional here, and when we felt it, it's been blowing in. And that made that home run hit by Handy all the more impressive.
Yeah.
Because she hit it right into the eye of that wind earlier today. 3-1 fastball, and that's called strike 2. A bit of a delayed call from Rick Anthony, our home plate umpire. I thought I heard him call it, but I didn't see that right arm go up until a few seconds later. The pitch. It's low for a ball. Just the second time Maria Young has issued a free pass today.
And Bree's been on base all 3 attempts here for the Blue Streaks. She's got an early running for our Big Frog custom t-shirts and more player of the game.
And the third base coach for this one, Crystal Palfy, coming in to have a discussion with Emily Hoisington, the designated player, who was 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Lake has scored in every inning in this one. She shows bunt, pulls it back. Runner takes off for second. The throw down there, it gets there on a hop, and it gets there a little bit late. Bree Handy with the stolen bag. And for a moment there, Dave, she almost slid off the base.
Yeah. The tag put on by the second baseman almost got her on the foot as her whole body went over the bag.
Young offers up. She shows bunt, gets it down, but it rolls foul. Well, this Prebis softball tournament, it's just so interesting in so many ways because of the teams you get the chance to see that, you know, we wouldn't normally have the opportunity to see ourselves. Looking forward to seeing Ostigo a little bit later today. They come in at a 10-1 record. They're warming up down the right field line as we speak. The next pitch, and that's upstairs for a ball. Runner takes off for third. The throw down there is not in time. A delayed steal by Bree Handy.
I love the delayed steal, Bull. It's such a good part of the game here. And if you're not paying attention, you could do some damage on the base paths, as Blue Streaks have done all day today.
Young's next offering, she shows bunt, pulls it back, and the pitch missed away for ball 3. And it was almost as if she had a big secondary lead, and then she perfectly timed the throw from the catcher, Maddie Freed, right back to Maria Young.
We were taught at a young age of the delayed steal, and we had a head and shoulders advantage over the majority of the teams in Little League because no one else did it. I had a coach by the name of Tom Path, who used to coach us at the Lorraine Firefighters team. And he was a stickler about the delayed steal, and it just helped us win so many games back in the day.
Fastball high, ball 4, back-to-back walks now issued by Maria Young, and there are runners at the corners going back to the top of the order for Olivia Brown.
With no outs.
Brown committed to play at the next level. She's playing at Akron next year.
That's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Anytime you got a D1 softball recruit on the field, you better pay attention.
First pitch is a strike. Hoisington will get down to second base. Stolen bag gets there on a difference. Brown hit by a pitch and also singled in this game. She shows bunt, pulls it back, and that missed away.
Already Brown's 4th batting appearance today, Bull.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the effect that she has not only at the plate, but very shifty as the shortstop as well. Good lateral movement. There's a couple of balls have gone her direction defensively today. She shows bunt on a pitch that misses way down low. That actually scooted on the turf, made a couple of hops before it got to Freed. The 2 times Brown has reached, she has scored. She swings and lines this one right back up the middle, base hit. That'll play to pair. Brown's on her way to second base. She's not finished there. She's headed for third. Here comes the relay throw. It is not in time. She's going to try and score, and she will. Wow!
Inside the park.
One of those Little League home runs you don't expect to see with the tight confines of a softball field, but that was just good old-fashioned hustle.
She had that in her mind as soon as she seen where that ball was. The center fielder had trouble fielding it, and coming around second, she had a full head of steam. As you mentioned, Crystal Palfy was throwing up the stop sign, and she just said, no, not today. As Olivia Brown has been phenomenal here today and showing off the speed on that bat.
In the shortstop, Jocelyn Oakes actually had the ball in her glove. She was right on the cusp of the brown portion of the turf here. And I think she was just shocked when she turned and looked and she saw that Olivia Brown was taking off her home plate. And that play at the dish wasn't even remotely close.
8-1 is your score now as we have a pitching change coming in for the Eagles.
Emily Heilman is now taking some warm-up tosses. They've taken Maria Young out of the contest. She was in there for a while, threw a lot of pitches. Again, I mean, that means something. It doesn't mean nearly as much as it does in a baseball game. There's not as much wear and tear on your arm, but Heilman will take over here with nobody on.
9-1 as they just updated the score here for us on the scoreboard.
It ended up being a 3-run inside the park home run. Gives us a chance once again to tell you that this inning of the Prebis softball tournament on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by Zach Simonoff for Judge. With over 26 years as an attorney in Lorain County, Zach Simonoff is running for Judge of the Oberlin Municipal Court. Visit SimonoffForJudge.com. Paid for by the Simonoff for Judge Committee. Heilman, a win, a loss, an ERA of 5.02. Coming into action in the Prebis softball tournament, she faces Aubrey Eisel. Eisel slaps one foul. Glad to have you all tuning in today. Wherever you're consuming this one on the Lorain County Sports Network, live and free on YouTube, we appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday morning festivities. Andy Bolbarch, Dave Rivera on the call. Edwin Vereen, our director. Sam Sovacool stopping around, trying to stay warm, working the camera. Off-speed pitch, misses up high for a ball. Sam's got to make his way down to the Radio Ranch. He's producing that Guardians game later today. They've got a twin bill against the Red Sox. A high noon game 1 first pitch, just after 6 in game 2. A cut and a miss. Aubrey Eisel comes up empty, strike 2. Had the chance to go to my first Guards game this season.
Already, huh, Bull?
On Tuesday, man. It was awesome. Saw them come from behind to beat the Yankees.
Yeah. I was hoping they could have swept the Yankees for the first time at home since 1970, but that didn't happen.
How about that?
But we did win the series for the first time since 2019. So I guess you can look at the glass half full there.
Yes. You know what? A series win against a team that's playing well like the Yankees, you always take that. Not to mention, they had played so well during that stretch against the Pirates and the Yankees that at one point going into play on Wednesday morning, they had the best record in the American League.
Yeah. I'm going to wait to go down to Progressive Field until probably mid-June, July-ish. I like the 70, 80-degree weather and the sun.
It's up high, and the count runs full here on Aubrey Eisel. Eisel with a couple of run-scoring singles, and now we've got time called. I think the ball came over the fence in right field. It did.
Yeah, Otsiego's back there warming up, and one got away from him and into playing field.
Full count on Eisel. Emily Heilman misses upstairs again, and that is the third walk issued to the Blue Streaks this inning. It wasn't that bad on Tuesday, though. I was actually
it's been the roller coaster of weather here.
That's true, yeah. Well, I guess we should expect that in the spring. You're right. It's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
Heilman deals. Fastball. Runner takes off for second. No throw is made down there. Maddie Freed had a hard time getting that out of her glove.
We're still with no outs here in the 5th inning.
And 9-1.
And we've got to stop the bleeding here if you're an Eagle fan.
Olivia Dreyer with a 2-run base hit in the second. Couple of strikeouts today. She hits this one on the ground, right side of the infield. Knocked out at second by Natalie Thomas. No play at first. Throws to the plate, but it won't get there in time. Runner takes off for second. The ball goes into center field. So Aubrey Eisel comes around to score. Olivia Dreyer with the infield base hit, makes her way to second, advancing on the throw.
Drayer's got 3 RBIs today now as well.
So Lake just continues to pour it on here, now up 10-1.
And that mercy rule going to be creeping into play as well.
Ground ball hit down to third, picked up by Jada Smith. Strong throw over to first base to get the out. So Avon's able to record the first out of the inning. But even their outs are productive ones because that moved Olivia Dreyer over to third. My, oh my. 10-1 Lake. And here's Michaela Props. And they've yet to retire her today. 2 infield singles, and then an errant throw, allow her to reach. First pitch floats up high for a ball. These are first go-arounds covering high school softball. You had the inaugural one on the Lorain County Sports Network yesterday, Avon and Hoban at Victory Park.
Well, for softball, yeah. I think you had the inaugural one for baseball, so we were both involved in a little history making here at the station.
Michaela Props floats a single in a shallow center field. Dreyer scores. Now it's 11-1.
Now that we have the luxury of video streaming these games on YouTube, you don't have to worry about putting them necessarily on the radio. Gives us a different audience that we're trying to captivate here.
Courtney Colai, the batter. A base hit and a free pass. First pitch lined into left field. That'll get down for a base hit. They'll go station to station. Props will stop at second. Colai on for the third time today. So the hits keep on coming. And I don't know if we're going to have subs or what, but 2 girls just ran back to the dugout.
Oh, they called her out because she left the base pad early.
Okay, so she left early and she's out, so that means the single is null and void for Colai. So Colai back at the plate here. She swings and socks one into left field, but right at Alex Fozzie, who makes the catch. So that'll bring this inning to a close. A bizarre finish with a runner leaving early. And Lake does Avon a bit of a favor in that regard. We've reached the end of the top of the 5th inning. And what a frame it was. The biggest by far for Lake as they score 5 times in the inning. They lead 10-1 halfway through the 5th. We are live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Eleven to 1, Lake leading Avon. Bottom of the 5th inning. We'll have some changes to tell you about. The first one, Jenna Smith at the dish for Avon to lead this inning off against Peyton Uri. Uri's first pitch is low for a ball. This inning of the Prebis softball tournament here on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by Victory Park in North Ridgeville. Victory Park is a 60-plus acre multi-sport and entertainment facility in North Ridgeville. They host athletic leagues, concerts, private parties, corporate events, and much more. For more information, visit victoryparkohio.com. That's victoryparkohio.com. Jenna Smith, a sophomore has one bomb this season. She swings and she taps it foul. Occupying the spot in the order previously occupied by Leah Stanford. Avon trying to battle back offensively here. They weren't able to do much damage against Peyton Urey in the first 4 innings. Got their lone run back in the 4th. Fisher looks at one knee high for a strike. A double in that 4th inning from Jada Smith, and she scored on Lauren Robinson's RBI single. Other than that, it's been all Lake in this one. The next pitch is fouled back behind home plate.
Jenna Smith battling here as she's pitch hitting, as you mentioned, for Leah Stanford. Coach Matusak just trying to get a spark right now because we're in mercy rule territory right here, ladies and gentlemen, as this will be the last inning if Avon doesn't plate a run here today.
Fastball cut out and missed, strike 3. Peyton Urey just continues to deal. That's 7 strikeouts for her. Working her way through that Avon batting order. This will be her 3rd trip through it as she faces Jocelyn Oakes. Actually, we have another pinch hitter here, as it'll be Reese Prebis. Prebis looks at one high for a ball. Well, in a situation like this, we talk about the Prebis tournament and the prestige that surrounds it. Coach wanting to get some kids some action in this game that might not normally see action against this level of competition. Prebis has knocked in 9 runs this season. The next pitch, a swing and a miss for strike 2. Urey trying to go the distance in a game where she did issue 4 walks, but none of those free passes ever came back to haunt her. Prebis takes high and away for a ball.
And the hardest hit ball of the day was Jada Smith getting that double for the Avon Eagles and then scoring in the 4th inning off the RBI single from Lauren Robinson.
Urey misses down low, went outside, so the count stuffed full here on Prebis. I mentioned that, Reed, about Victory Park a few moments ago. We thought we were going to be at Victory Park today. And then all the rain that came down last night made things tough to play there. Prebis sends one foul again.
Huge shout out to Tony and staff at Victory Park in North Ridgeville, sponsor of this weekend's coverage. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spotlight that beautiful facility in North Ridgeville except for yesterday due to the weather conditions and how the fields turned out.
And they do a lot of really cool things at Victory Park.
Yeah, they do.
Fastball called, strike 3. They get Prebis looking. And with 2 down now, we'll see if they go into the bench again or if they'll stick with Lauren Fisher. And it looks like
a new batter.
It is indeed a new batter. You are correct. It's Genevieve Janikowski. So Janikowski will hit here. Janikowski swings from the left side, looks at one up high, a ball.
Speaking of Victory Park, they're going to be hosting a Vet Fest happening in August 22nd and 23rd. All proceeds going to be benefiting the Ohio Northeast Vet Fest, as they're going to have some huge acts coming to town for a 2-day concert, rock and roll as well as country. So if you're a fan of any of those genres of music and you want to support the veterans here in Northeast Ohio, consider getting a ticket today.
A swing and a miss for strike 2. Want to remind you that the visiting starting lineups today brought to you by Smitty's Place in Elyria, a family tradition since 1934. Stop by 368 East Bridge Street in Elyria. Grab a famous Smitty burger today. Smitty's Place, where friends go to meet. Next offering, a delayed called strike 3. 3 strikeouts here in the 5th inning for Peyton Urey. Boy, what a ball game for her, and that will put the finishing touches on this one. Urey allowed just a run on 2 hits, and Lake will come away with a mercy rule victory, 11-1 over Avon. Urey and 9 in this game. What a contest for her, Dave. She just controlled this thing from the get-go.
Bull, we got a decision to make because we got to figure out who our custom Big Frog custom T-shirts and more player of the game is, and there's quite a few people to choose from. So let's take a break, let's talk it over, and then we'll bring it back and give out some awards.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. Again, your final score in this one, Lake wins via the Mercy Rule in 5 innings over Avon, 11-1 here at the Prebis Softball Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Game 1 of the Prebis softball tournament and our Saturday full of action here at Avon High School is complete. A mercy rule goes into effect as Avon falls to Lake 11-1 in 5 innings. We were happy to have this one for you on the Lorain County Sports Network. Andy Bulbarch, Dave Rivera on the call. Edwin Vereen, our director, Sam Sovacool on the camera. Well, not a whole lot went right for Avon in this one. Lake scored in every single inning of this contest. It all began with an RBI single from Aubrey Isola, score Olivia Broad in the first. They would add a few more in the third. That rally began in a solo homer from Bree Handy. She was named our Big Frog Custom T-shirt player of the game. She got a T-shirt, also got to side the bat as well. She hit a home run right into the teeth of that wind blowing in from left field. And then they would score 2 more times in that second inning on a base hit from Olivia Dreyer. In the third, they would add another run and an RBI single from Bree Handy as she struck again. In the fourth inning, they would plate another run on a 2-out error, and then they did a lot of damage in that 5th inning. And the highlight of that frame was an inside-the-park home run from Olivia Brown. So they were able to get contributions from a number of different girls here today as they score 11 times on 13 hits and win via the mercy rule 11-1 over Avon. The winning pitcher in this one is Peyton Urey. She didn't allow a hit until the fourth inning. Avon got their lone run after a double off the bat of Jada Smith that started the inning. She came around to score on Lauren Robinson's RBI single, but that's all Avon was able to come up with in this one. Yuri went the distance, allowed just a run on 2 hits. She walked 4, struck out 9 in this game. And for Avon, the loss will go to Maria Young. She lasted 4 innings, and she allowed a few runs on 9 hits. She walked 3 and struck out 7. With the win, the Blue Streaks 11-4-1 on the year. Avon falls to 9-7 with the loss. Well, don't go anywhere, because coming up here in just a bit, we are scheduled for a high noon first pitch. Otsego going to take on Avon in Game 2 here at the Prebis softball tournament at Avon High School. We'll get things going here in about 20 minutes or so. But that's going to wrap things up for us here in Game 1. I want to thank all of our sponsors for this one. The Elyria Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, Network Land Title Agency in Elyria, Zach Simonoff for Judge, Victory Park, Ohio in North Ridgeville, and Smitty's Place in Elyria. 11-1, Mercy Rule Final. Lake a winner over Avon. We want to thank all of you for tuning in to our broadcast here today. Special thanks to both head coaches for all of their help to get us ready for this one. And we want to thank the entire broadcast team here as well. My tag team partner, Dave Rivera, for his colorful analysis, the captain of our ship, Edwin Vereen, and Sam Sovacool, our cameraman as well. John Guzik will join me for Game 2 again in about 20 minutes or so for Otsego and Avon. It'll be live and free here on the Lorain County Sports Network. For Edwin, for Dave, for Sam, this is Andy Bolbart saying thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you again in about 20 minutes again here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Bobarch joined alongside John Guzik to call this one. Edwin Vereen, still the captain of our ship, and Sam Sovacol working the cameras. They're ready to go, and we'll work through these starting lineups as we cruise. Oddly, even though we're on Avon's home field, they're the visitors in this one. So Lauren Fisher will lead off. She'll show butt, gets it down, right side of the infield. It's picked up by the pitcher, Janelle Brooks. Air mirrors the throw into foul territory, first base side. Throw down to second base, does not get there in time.
Wow, pretty good throw from right field, though. Made it very close at second.
Lauren Fisher with a bunt base hit, then an errant throw puts her on second right away. So Lauren Fisher leads off, and now the umpires will get together. Speaking of the umpires, Rick Anthony on the bases, Ron Gaw calling the balls and strikes. And they want the umpires to get together to see if maybe this call could be overturned.
Well, you always want to get the call right, but to appeal from the guy behind home plate to second base, you'd have to have some very definitive knowledge. I mean, from our angle, very close, and Rick Anthony turned the base umpire turns around and says we're keeping it safe.
So Lauren Fisher leading off. Leah Stanford now coming to the plate, the second baseman. Natalie Thomas will play third and bat third for Avon. Jada Smith will clean up. She's the DP. Jocelyn Oaks, the shortstop, hitting fifth. Reese Predovich, first baseman, hitting the sixth spot. Janelle Brooks with a pitch. They show bunt, and the pitch misses up and away for a ball. Lauren Robinson, the catcher, batting seventh. Emily Heilman, the pitcher, bats eighth. And Jenna Smith, the left fielder, will bat ninth. And the flex is the right fielder, Alexa Fozzie. Bunt shown again. She gets a piece of it, sending it foul.
Interesting thing about this matchup here is both teams play Lake. Avon just played them. Otsego will stay and play Lake after this, and both want to put their number one pitchers against Lake. So we're going to see a different type of game here for this noon matchup.
Fastball high and away. The starting lineup brought to you by Zach Simonoff for Judge. With over 26 years as an attorney in Lorain County, Zach Simonoff is running for Judge of the Oberlin Municipal Court. Visit SimonoffForJudge.com. Paid for by the Simonoff for Judge Committee. Fastball upstairs again on Leah Stanford, so it's 3-1.
If you're like most people outside of Wood County, you're saying, where's Otsego? It actually has a Bowling Green mailing address, a D5 team.
She sends the next one foul. Well, a big thanks to the fine folks at Otsego for helping us out with this one, because this was a last-minute addition to our broadcast schedule, but the coaching staff has been incredibly helpful, getting us stats, a roster, a lineup. So a big, big thanks to the entire staff for that. A cut and a miss for strike three. Leah Stanford down on strikes. Janelle Brooks able to put her away, and that's the first out of the contest. Avon comes in 9-7 after that loss to Lake. The Otsego Knights are 10-2 on the season. First offering is lifted into the gap in left center field. On the chase at center, Grayson Gray, she can't get to it. That's going to go all the way to the wall, and that plates the game's first run. Natalie Thomas pummels the first pitch that she sees, scoring. Lauren Fisher, and Avon has a 1-0 lead.
I tell you what, when Natalie hit that ball, I thought for sure that was gap and to the fence, and Zegray did a great job by Otsego just getting a mid on it at all. It was well hit. And we get the scoring a little bit earlier in this game for the Eagles.
They didn't get their lone run in the first game against Lake until that fourth inning. Didn't get their first hit of that game to that fourth inning. Enter Jada Smith, a designated player. Janelle Brooks into the wind of the pitch. It's fouled back.
I mentioned Otsego has a Bowling Green mailing address and is a D5 school. They are number 6 in the state in Division 5 in the second poll that's come out for the state so far. So this is an excellent team, like you said, not only that, a 10-2 record.
Well, you get the best of the best in the Prebis tournament. A cut and a miss for strike two, and I know that anybody that's around the softball scene always talks about this time of year, the Prebis, all the great teams that come to this area to play in the tournament. Today, They're kind of dispersed all around Lorain County. From Lorain to LaGrange to Avon to North Ridgeville. A swing and a miss. Strike three got her. Smith down on strike. Second strikeout of the inning for Janelle Brooks. But the draw is a week from tomorrow. And it's important to note that, this is a really good chance for a lot of these teams to try and improve their position in that regard before that draw takes place 8 days from today. Off speed misses down low, and Jocelyn Oaks. Now, they moved her down a few spots in the order, but Oaks is a player that's had a terrific season. 3 home runs, .380 average, entering play in the Prebis tournament. A wave and a miss for strike 2.
Did you notice that, Bull, during that last pitch? Somebody turned the lights on out here at this field here. We haven't
Mother Nature finally decided to help us out a little bit.
Little thinning of the clouds, and there's a nice little addition here.
I didn't think we were going to see that all day. Next offering at the knees for a called strike 2.
You mentioned we talk about other sports. If you're, I think if you're in basketball or football, kind of the seeding to draw doesn't really matter that much. You got to play everybody. But with softball and baseball, it's about pitching matchups.
Yes.
So it's a little more critical of who you play in those first couple rounds.
A swing and a miss for strike 3. Well, how about Janelle Brooks? Strikes out 3 here in the first inning, but Avon does draw first blood on an RBI double from Natalie Thomas. They lead after a half inning of play. The Knights coming to bat for the first time today. Right after this, we're live and free on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. An early 1-0 lead for Avon over Otsego as we enter the bottom half of the first inning here at the Prebis softball tournament. Let's take a look at that starting lineup for the Otsego Knights. 10-2 on the year. Riley Rowe leads off. She's the right fielder. Ava Weaver at second base batting second. The pitcher is Janelle Brooks. She'll bat third. Allie Hoffman cleans up at first base. Shortstop Kaylin Lorenz batting fifth. In the sixth spot, Gracie Zagray in center field. Kenna Jones will bat seventh. She's the designated player. Mackenzie Shirkey will man the hot corner and bat eighth. And rounding out the lineup is the left fielder, Lauren Euler. The starting lineup brought to you by Smitty's Place in Elyria, a family tradition since 1934. Stop by 368 East Bridge Street in Elyria and grab a famous Smitty burger today. That's Smitty's Place, where friends go to meet.
Heilman's first pitch up a little high. She comes in just 2 decisions on the year, 1-1 record so far this season.
She appeared in the first game today. Came on to finish things up as Maria Young got a bit of a breather. She also pitched, Maria Young did yesterday against Holben. Next pitch called a strike, and it's 1-1 on Riley Rowe. And John, you take a look at some of these numbers put together by Otsego. They've got some outstanding offensive numbers. Riley Rowe hitting .436 on the year. Next one is spoiled foul over the screen. It quickly goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
But, you talked earlier about we were preparing for other games and with the Prebis and the weather, had to move everything around. What knowledge did you have of Otsego? Was it as limited as mine when I said Otsego? Where is that? I'd not heard of this school before.
Until you mentioned they had a Bowling Green mailing address, I had no idea where in the state that they were. Next one is low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But I'm very familiar with Bowling Green. Spent 4.5 of my finest years there.
It's an excellent area, right?
I love it, man. I don't get back up there enough, to be honest with you. Since I graduated college just over 20 years ago, I just haven't been there enough. Next pitch is hit. It'll get by a diving Thomas at third, and down the left field line it goes for a base hit. So Riley Rowe is aboard and a base knock.
Just outside the reach there. Made a good effort. Natalie Thomas, the third base person here. But base hit starts it out for Otsego.
Avon looks a little different defensively this time around than they did in that first game against Lake. Certainly wanted to change things up at least a little. Here comes Ava Weaver. First pitch gets just enough of the outer half to be called a strike.
You know, you mentioned playing Lake in this previous game. I was home watching this on YouTube, and every time I hear that, I look up thinking it's Avon playing the Shore Gals, right?
That was the first impression that I got. Weaver's a .324 hitter on the season. She takes away to even the count at 1-1. Now it's not the only Wood County school taking part in the Prebis tournament. We mentioned Perrysburg is here, and they are always a softball powerhouse. But that's the cool thing about this tournament. You get people from all over the state.
It's amazing how they've put together here, and just year in and year out. And unfortunately, too many of the years in April, you got to deal with weather situations, at least part of the tournament, like we are this weekend. But they know how to adapt, don't they?
You brought the sunshine with you.
Thank you.
So you keep doing this, we'll have to bring you more often. The next pitch is way over the catcher, Lauren Robinson, taking off for second. Riley Rose, she'll get there standing up.
Well, you can bring me more often, because I would say I think I have a very unique perspective on this game. I might be the only announcer who's actually played fast-pitch softball and umpired fast-pitch softball.
Next pitch popped up. Foul territory on that right side, and it'll be caught by the second baseman, Leah Stanford. So Stanford's able to put that away in fairground. I thought that ball was going to drift into foul territory. It stayed in play. They're able to get the first out of the inning. Here comes Janelle Brooks. Now, I'm not surprised that you umpired fast-pitch softball, but the fact that you played it is a little surprising.
My older brother and I, Lorraine, had a very vibrant men's fast-pitch softball league back in the day. Played in thriving metropolises like Spencer and Rittman and things like that. We had to go on the road and find teams to play.
How many teams did you guys play? Were there a decent chunk of teams in the state?
I want to say there was maybe 3 or 4 in the city of Lorraine, and then there was tournaments every weekend like this.
Next one is lifted into the middle of the infield. It'll be caught by the shortstop, Jocelyn Oaks. So Riley Rowe has to stay put at second base. After allowing that leadoff single to Riley Rowe, Emily Heilman's able to induce a couple of pop-outs. 1 out away from getting out of this first inning while maintaining that lead.
Right, going against a pretty stout lineup here. Number 6 team in Division 5, and she gets a couple pop-out. The first one, not that easy on going to second base, but I wanted to mention it. The wind seems to have died down here since this morning. It was pretty breezy getting things started today. And being back here nestled in all these trees helps to block the wind. And that's why I made it a little bit easier of a play for Stanford to make that first out.
This is skied into shallow left center. Coming out in center, diving and not able to make the catch is Lauren Fisher. That'll plate the tying run with 2 outs. Rowe is on the move at the crack of the bat. Riley Rowe will come in to score the game tying run and an RBI single from Allie Hoffman. Well, nice effort at center by Fisher to try and dive forward and catch that. For a second, it looked like she snow-coated, then it popped out of her glove. Here's Kaylin Lorenz. Knee-high fastball called strike 1. And John talked about this earlier, but Emily Heilman hasn't pitched a ton this year. They haven't had to rely on her much because of the year that Maria Young has had. Next one scoots its way toward the catcher at home plate. It redirects to her left, and that's going to allow Hoffman to get to second.
The official score here next to me marking that last one a single. It was a tough play coming in on it, but I thought it was up in the air long enough that hopefully the fielder was going to get underneath it, but unfortunately kept the inning alive for Otsego.
The next one is skied foul behind home plate. Yeah, and I think with that dive coming in, she exceeded the grounds of extraordinary effort, right? And that would give a nod to the single instead of the year.
Well, it seemed like that first pop-up to the second base stayed in the air a little bit longer. That one did seem to kind of like die pretty quickly. And I said the wind's not as strong, but it's still affecting flight of the ball here for sure.
That's a deadline shot hit foul off to our left. You made the comment, too. I think you're right. Because you're kind of nestled back in the trees back here, that blocks some of that wind, or at least it kills it to some degree where it doesn't have as big of an effect.
Right, and maybe the ball to center field got a little bit higher up, that it did get knocked down a little bit more by the wind.
Next offering is upstairs, and the deuces are wild now here on Kalen Lorenz.
Because here in center field, we're oriented. If you go home plate to center field, we're pretty much northeast is what we're looking at, and the wind's coming out of the northwest.
This is hit in the air. Left field coming on and left for Avon is Jenna Smith to make the play, and the inning is over. Otsego is able to tie the game here in the home half of the first inning on an RBI single from Allie Hoffman. We're deadlocked at 1 at the end of 1. We're at the Prebis tournament here at Avon High School, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top of the second inning, tied at 1 apiece. Batters 6, 7, and 8. Reese Predovich, Lauren Robinson, Emily Heilman due up to face Janelle Brooks. Brooks allowed a run on 2 hits in that first inning for Avon. RBI double from Natalie Thomas. First pitch here in the second frame is low for a ball on Predovich. We saw her in a pinch hit situation in that first game for Avon. She's played quite a bit this year, though, for the Eagles. Next offering, it's a waist-high fastball for a called strike. Predovich sees some action as the designated player, a senior, batting .233 at the start of play in the Prebis.
Where did it go?
The next pitch from Brooks is hit on the ground, left side of the infield. Backhand pick made by Lorenz at short, throws to first. It doesn't get there in time. Predovich able to find the hole on the left side of the infield, and a good play by Lorenz to make that backhand pick just to stop that ball. But Predovich able to leg out an infield base hit.
Yeah, watching a team for the first time, I thought this is going to be a tough play. It's deep in the hole, but you don't play shortstop if you don't have the strong arm to go with it, so I wasn't sure she was going to be able to get there, but good hustle by Predovich to start out the inning.
Enter Lauren Robinson, shows bunt, pulls it back, and the pitch is called a strike. We noted this in the first game, but the ball is not really jumping off the turf like we expected. Not that it's moving slowly either, but it's just not jumping off the turf like it usually does. Second pitch, she shows bunt again. This time it's down too low, 1-1.
I wonder if they've, kind of the technology behind the turf, the artificial turf, has advanced enough to make it more realistic, or if it's more to do with the amount of rain that did fall last evening.
I would go with the latter. The next one popped foul and out of play, because every time we talk with Coach Matusak, he always discusses how it takes opposing teams an inning or two just to kind of get used to the speed of play. But that didn't matter in game 1. I mean, Lake had no issues with it.
All right, especially if your team game is speed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just becomes one of those things where I think when you warm up on it, you get a small feel for it. But at the same time, it's just not jumping the way, we were told it usually does. Janelle Brooks with 4 strikeouts. She sat down Lauren Robinson, 1 on, 1 away. Here comes Emily Heilman. She cuts and misses behind on a fastball for a strike.
One thing about the 4 strikeouts so far, all of them swinging. So the Eagles are up there trying to get their cuts in, and you hope that they get a little bit better timing once they see a pitcher for the second time as this game goes on.
Next delivery, she shows bunt, gets a piece of it, but it goes foul.
Talking about umpiring, that's all. That one was fairly easy, but when the batter brings out the bat for the bunt, it's low, and you're trying to look over the catcher and see whether there was contact. You're trying to listen. Like I said, that one was pretty easy, but sometimes some of these calls by the home plate umpire is pretty tough.
Heilman takes high and away. It's a ball and 2 strikes, and a chance to talk with both umpires. Ron Gaw calling the balls and strikes for this one. Rick Anthony on the bases. How about some of the differences you get when you play a game on a turf field as opposed to the traditional dirt surface? Next one is grounded left side of the infield. It's picked up at short by Lorenz. She'll throw to second. They're able to get the lead runner. So Heilman will reach on the fielder's choice. Prebis retired at second in the force out. And a nice play by Kaylin Lorenz, showing the range at short and eliminating the lead runner at second. We have a pinch runner at first base. And for Avon, that'll be Michaela Jankowski. Courtesy runner for the pitcher. In comes Jenna Smith.
And last play, I was going to say, pretty good hustle by Prebis, making it close at second base.
First delivery is called a strike. Runner takes off for second, and the throw doesn't quite get there in time. Lorenz had a cut over from short and grabbed that in front of the bag at second and just wasn't quite able to reach behind her to get the tag. So Jankowski's on second. And the next pitch is hit foul right back to the screen.
It was always a unique thing going from umpiring baseball to softball, was that ball needing to leave the circle before the runner can leave, and especially when you have multiple runners on base and only one umpire on the bases. It takes some work to umpire high school softball.
Next pitch is down too low, and there was actually a runner called out because of that in the first game.
Sure.
A tip of the old cap to Edwin Marine and Sam Sovacool for picking up on that, because we did not see that back here in the broadcast position, but those guys picked up on it right away. Smith looks at one away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the Eagles left fielder. Jenna Smith, just a sophomore. And a home run earlier this season. She swings and sends the next one foul behind home plate. So we'll do it again here at 2-2.
I also was noticing coming out here that different fence structure behind home plate is actually so sensible. I wonder why I hadn't seen it before, and it gives a little protection to the dugouts there.
Covering up some of those blind spots. The next pitch, just cut and a miss for strike 3. Took something off at that time, did Janelle Brooks, and she has her 5th strikeout of the game. An inning and a half into this one. We're tied at 1 between Otsego and Avon. We're live at the Prebis tournament, and we are on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Last of the second, Otsego and Avon tied at 1, batter 6, 7, and 8. Gracie Zagray, Kenneth Jones, and Mackenzie Shirky do up to face Emily Heilman. 2-out run came across for Otsego on a base hit from Allie Hoffman that scored Riley Rowe in the first inning. It's Avon's home field, but Otsego is the home team in this game. First pitch of the inning is hit sharply back up the middle, base hit. Gracie Zagray attacked that first pitch that she saw from Emily Heilman. And right away, the Knights have a base runner, second straight frame, where the leadoff batter has reached safely. Andy Bolbarch joined alongside John Guzik to call this one for you. Pitch is lined right to the shortstop, caught by Jocelyn Oakes. Boy, Kenna Jones got a really good piece of that, but fortunately for Avon, Oakes was in the right place at the right time. She was positioned perfectly.
Well, I tell you, the first thing I think of, though, after those first two pitches went basically the same spot on the field, that's good coaching. You know, you don't get to be a 10-2 team without good coaching, and it looks like maybe they gave some tips to their players on Otsego after seeing Heilman out there for the first inning. So we'll see what adjustments else can be made, but nice play at short to get the first out.
Yeah, that was a very hard hit ball. It just went right to her. The next one hit sharply right back toward Oakes again, and she makes another snag on a line drive. Right on cue.
I mean, what's the distance from where the 3 hit balls went in this inning? A matter of probably less than 10 feet.
Oh, yeah,
for
sure.
One of them just far enough to get a base hit. The other 2 nice played outs there by shortstop.
Euler, the batter. The runner takes off for second. The throw down there gets there a little bit late.
Well, I thought Oakes was going to have a chance to have all 3 putouts in the inning right there. Going to steal the second base, but Zagray gets in there just before the tag.
Lauren Euler, the left fielder, facing Emily Heilman. She swings, she hits this one on the ground toward short. Oakes up with it, fires on to first, and the inning is over. A very busy inning for Jocelyn Oakes at short. A leadoff single from Gracie Zagray does no damage through 2 here at Avon High School at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament. We are tied at 1 between Avon and Otsego. We're live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Avon and Otsego tied at 1. Top of the Avon order due up Lauren Fisher, Leah Stanford, and Natalie Thomas will face Janelle Brooks. 2 innings of work. She's allowed a run on 3 hits. And the left-handed hitting Lauren Fisher will lead things off at the top of the 3rd. Brooks' first pitch, it's up high for a ball. This inning of the Prebis Softball Tournament on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by the Elyria Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol. April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol is reminding everyone to stay in the game, stay focused, and never drive distracted. Second pitch, down too low again, ball 2.
Fisher started the game with a bunt single, and that time she looked like she was going to go kind of for that slap action.
And a lot of times that's what you get out of a leadoff hitter in softball.
Get on base.
Slappers, as they're called, and get on base. Yep, you got it. Next one is incredibly low. That bounced, it looked like a couple of feet past the circle.
Yeah, she took a good step and a half forward as the pitch was coming through. Trying to make that, puts a lot of pressure on the third baseman here right in front of us.
She's actually got sunglasses on behind the mask at third base. The pitch. And that's taken at the knees for a called strike. We mentioned the restructuring of the lineup a little bit. Fisher leading off, one of the captains of this team, a .364 batter, entering play yesterday at the start of this tournament. 3-1 pitch, called strike two. Really a similar spot. So a full count now facing Fisher.
Again, I was talked about earlier about umpiring fast pitch softball. When the batter's moving like that forward in the box, you got to be able to focus on your strike zone that you established before the pitch. And
she sends the next one foul.
now I was going to say, now she's got to stay alive, though, because you got the 2 strikes on it.
And that one looked like it might have been low, but those last 2 pitches were lower in the zone. So
right.
I think that forced her to certainly fight that one off and live to see another one. The next pitch is grounded right back toward the mound. Brooks knocks it down. No play at first base. Lauren Fisher on with the single, her second base hit of the game. Janelle Brooks was able to get a piece of it, but she could only knock that down.
Well, you know, going off what you were just saying before that pitch, that was a pretty intelligent at-bat. She realized what she needed to do, what she was trying to do, what the situation was, and did what the leadoff hitter you need to have, and that's Fisher on first base.
In comes Leah Stanford. Showing bunt, pulls it back. That one's low, and it gets by the catcher, Hartman. On her way to second base, Fisher. She'll get there easily.
Yeah, so easily that Lauren actually like kind of took a half a step back towards first base even after it was past the catcher because she wanted to be sure, and she still was able to advance with just a little jog.
Stanford, a senior, .278 batter on the season. RBI opportunity, runner at second. Showing bunt, pulling back, and this time it's a called strike.
Oh, now he went from a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds to me feeling a raindrop on my noggin. So.
And I thought that R word was not going to rear its ugly head at any point in today's action. We thought it was just going to be chilly.
Well, maybe that was. We'll get this pitch in. I was saying maybe that was part of going further north from Victory Park, because when you live this close to the lake, you never can get rid of that chance of a sprinkle or short spurt of rain with this type of weather system.
And the 2-1 pitch way upstairs for ball 3. So a hitter's count facing Leah Stanford. This Prebis softball tournament really is something special. You get a chance to see teams we don't normally get the chance to see as the next one bounces its way to the plate. That's ball 4. Stanford will head on down to first. But a few weeks back, Coach Piazza was giving us an idea as to, what he experiences putting this thing together. And this, I believe it's in its 15th year.
19, I think.
No, I'm sorry,
yeah,
19th year, yeah. And it's at the point now where they have to turn teams away.
Right.
Got about 40 teams, something like that, involved in it every year.
Well, the only thing I mentioned about that is people in this area don't realize what a tremendous entertainment value they have right in their backyard on this weekend. And to me, that you should be pushing people away to get near all this action, because these are some really the best, finest teams in at least the northern half of the state of Ohio.
So after the walk issued to Stanford, Janelle Brooks has now fallen behind 2-0 on Natalie Thomas. Coach Collier calls for time, and he'll head on out there to have a talk with his entire infield.
You talked about this tournament coming right before the draw next weekend, but Avon has purposely driven up a schedule that's pretty tough this week. They've got their rivals back here for the rematch on Wednesday, and they run-ruled them the first time, so it was very successful for the Avon Eagles. But on Monday, you got to take on another state-ranked team in the Amherst Comets, and that's over at Amherst on Monday afternoon. So Avon's got a lot on their plate this week, but like you said, get some successes in there like yesterday, improves your seed.
And Coach Reichert and company have a sensational team this year, no doubt about that. Fastball called a strike. We thought we were going to see Coach Reichert's team.
Right.
But that, again, a lot of things have changed. But that's going to be a fun team to follow a couple of weeks into May. They're pretty deep this year. Fastball taken down low, ball 3. Natalie Thomas with an RBI double back in that first inning. A chance here to give Avon the lead again. 3-1 from Brooks. Ground ball hit down to third, picked up by Shirky, tags the bag for 1, throws across to first, double play. Oh, what a DP by Mackenzie Shirky at third. The 5-3 twin killing. And now we've got time here as Coach Collier's coming up to talk to home plate umpire Ron Gaw. And not exactly sure what he's discussing.
Not sure what this conversation would be about.
Well, they got the
From
result.
the home plate umpire, at least.
Yeah, they got the result they were looking for. They got that double play. The runner advanced to second. Leah Stanford standing out there now with 2 down. The batter is Jada Smith. Smith, the strikeout victim, her first time through. Pitch from Brooks, a wave and a miss for strike 1. Well, it would be a huge momentum shift if Janelle Brooks could get out of this inning without allowing a run. A swing and a miss for strike 2.
Well, you know, I mentioned before this inning started about the coaching of Otsego. You don't get to be a state-ranked team if you don't have right coaching. And he made that visit to the mound after a walk and down 2-0 in the count. And since then, it definitely has made a difference in what's been happening on the field, all positive for the Knights.
Fastball misses up high, a ball and 2 strikes. You're right. Sometimes all it takes is a quick visit to bring the troops together to try and settle things down. And they are 1 strike away from ending this frame, still tied at 1. A swing and a miss, strike 3. Make it 6 strikeouts for Janelle Brooks. She's dealing today. Halfway through the third, we're still tied at 1 apiece. We're at the Prebis softball tournament here in Avon, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. We enter the bottom half of the third. Otsego and Avon still tied at 1. Top of the order due up for the Knights. First pitch popped up on the infield. Coming on at third, Natalie Thomas, the third baseman. She can't handle it, though. Dropped it just on the left side of the circle. And Riley Rowe is aboard on the air to start the frame.
And since that first inning, basically Otsego has them swinging at the first pitch every single at bat.
Yeah, they've been ultra aggressive. Show bunt, pulled it back on a pitch that misses up high for a ball at Ava Weaver. She popped out to Leah Sanford at second base, her first time up.
I'm not sure what Heilman was thinking on that one, but maybe a good idea to put one out of its own since they're swinging so early.
Off-speed pitch, misses the zone. It's 2 balls and no strikes. It's been rare to see Heilman start a game this season for Avon because, again, most of the damage has been done in the circle by their terrific freshman Maria Young. But so far, Heilman's pitched pretty well in this one.
And these are the ones that try your mental toughness, right? When you get an error in the field or something happens to you that's just totally out of your control, you got to focus, not let it bother you. And that's a tough task for pitching, right? I mean, it's much easier said than done.
But a lot of softball coaches will tell you about that. You know, working on mental toughness in a game where you're going to have to work through your failures and learn your lesson from those. Off speed, up high, ball 4. So Ava Weaver draws the free pass. Riley Rowe on her way to second. 2 on and nobody out for Janelle Brooks, who not that long ago worked herself out of a pickle similar to this one.
And first time up, popped out to the shortstop in the first inning.
Off speed, misses away. And after having not many issues whatsoever finding the zone, all of a sudden, Emily Heilman having a tough time throwing strikes. She deals, and it's high again, ball 2.
And again, can't get into what's going on mentally, but because Otsego was swinging so much on the first pitch, you know, you say, well, I'm going to get one a little bit out on the first one. Then you got to adjust it back because you changed your delivery a little bit.
Brooks waves and comes up empty for strike 1.
Emily certainly found the right spot there.
You look 1 through 9 at the numbers anyways for Otsego. Wait, there are no soft spots in this batting order. It seems like every single girl on this team can hit. Fastball called a strike, and it's quickly evened at 2-2 on Brooks.
Otsego fans not really in agreement with that one, but
yeah, there are quite a few of them behind us. Some out in front of us between here and the dugout. Dispersed throughout. That one bounces its way to the plate. Runner takes off for third. The throw down there, not going to get there in time. That actually scooted past Natalie Thomas. And Riley Rowe, as she slid into third base, looked like she may have stopped that from going into left field.
you guys had the 10 o'clock game, and so I came in a little bit later, and their parking is very tough to find back here. And
oh, yeah.
then you add more construction at the Avon High School, another expansion.
This is hit in the air, shallow center. That'll drop for a base hit. That plates 2 runs, and Janelle Brooks helps herself out with a 2-run single to crack a 1-1 tie. Ostego's got a 3-1 lead.
That is a key hit by Otsego, and again, you don't get to be 10-2 if you don't take advantage of situations. And this inning starts with an error in the field and a walk, and next thing you know, Otsego has both of those girls on the board in a 3-1 lead.
Here's Allie Hoffman getting set to swing away. And I believe we have a courtesy runner over at first base. Not uncommon. You see that quite a bit in softball. Sometimes it happens for catchers. More often than not happens for a pitcher. This is hit in the air, down the line and left. That could be trouble. That's going to get down for a base hit. Jenna Smith's able to knock that one down on a hop. But Allie Hoffman with her second base hit of the game. Runner will advance to second. And the first 4 batters of this inning have reached safely.
That might be the proverbial seeing eye single, because that would just had to go to the spot just in front of where she could have caught that ball and keeps the inning moving for the Knights of Otsego.
Kaylin Lorenz standing in, shows bunt, gets it down. That picked up right in front of the plate. Throw down to first base, gets there in time. Natalie Thomas hustling over from third to pick that up, and she fired a bullet over to first base to get the out. Both base runners advance. Ava Coe is the courtesy runner who's standing on third. But a nice bunt by Lorenz to move everybody over. And here comes Gracie Zagray. The pitch to her is chopped towards short, knocked down by Jocelyn Oakes. She has no play at first, and that'll plate another one. Ava Coe will score from third. Allie Hoffman stayed put at second. And Gracie Zagray drives in the run. She's aboard at first base.
Well, the first 4 batters reached base for Otsego in this inning, and 3 have already scored.
Dead ball. That one, I think, got a piece of the batter. It did. Kenna Jones hit by the pitch, and things are beginning to spiral out of control for the Eagles here in the third.
Well, the great thing about softball is still, when you're in a tough spot like this, you're one pitch away from being out of the inning. And that's where you got to, talked about that mental toughness earlier this half inning. Stay focused on what you do.
The next one gets between the wickets of Lauren Robinson, but it doesn't get far enough away for the runners to advance.
And you've got a runner on third who's wearing a knee brace of some sort, so I'm going to go on the assumption that speed is not going to be something that's going to come out from there. So that gives you a little bit extra protection as the catcher knocking a ball down back there.
The next pitch popped up into left field, charging it and making the catch is Jenna Smith in left. Then she fires it back to the infield to make sure nobody's able to advance. Nice play by Jenna Smith to come charging in to put that away.
Well, you know, Jenna coming into the old fundamentals, right? Don't hold on to the ball once you catch it in the outfield. Get it to your cutoff person. She was almost the cutoff person by the time she got it on a run, but she says, you know what, I'm sending it home. It's where the ball needs to be. Nice play.
Here's Lauren Euler. Euler swings and misses at an off-speed pitch for a strike. A 3-run inning so far. A 4-1, I beg your pardon, 5-1 lead at this point. And a chance here for Heilman to get out of this and try and kind of minimize the damage. It was an inning that at the very beginning of this thing looked like it could have really blown things up. The next pitch is popped up. On the right side of the infield, Leah Stanford at second base will make the catch, and the inning is over. Otsego is able to plate 3 runs here in the third, and now they lead Avon 4-1 at the end of 3. It's the Prebis Memorial Tournament here at Avon High School, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome back out to Avon High School for today's action in the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. This inning of softball on the Lorain County Sports Network brought to you by Victory Park, Ohio. Victory Park is a 60-plus acre multi-sport and entertainment facility in North Ridgeville. They host athletic leagues, concerts, private parties, corporate events, and more. For more information, visit victoryparkohio.com. Leading off for Avon here in the top of the 4th inning, Jocelyn Oakes. She'll be followed by Reese Predovich and Lauren Robinson. Janelle Brooks working with a 4-1 lead. Brooks will send the next one to the plate, and it misses low for a ball.
You know, just recapping that last half inning, good job by Emily Heilman. You know, it was a tough inning, right? There was a hit by pitch, there was an error, there was a walk. But she hung in there, and to get off the field with the bases loaded and no further damage done, nice job.
1-1 pitch is upstairs. And Jocelyn Oakes. Oakes struck out swinging back in the first. A 3-run frame for Otsego in that third. Right now, the difference in this game, Avon trying to battle back. Fastball called strike 2.
Well, he's been consistent calling that low strike for sure. So
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's all I ever wanted to do umpiring is be consistent. Didn't have all the technology they have when you're watching the professional leagues now.
2-2, up and away, and the count runs full. Janelle Brooks got into a little trouble back in the third, but worked her way out of it, inducing a huge double play ball. Facing the third batter in the order, and Natalie Thomas. Payoff pitch, a swing and a miss, strike three. That's the 7th strikeout of the game for Janelle Brooks.
And all 7 of them swinging. Again, that was a little low, so when you know you got an umpire behind the plate that's got a low strike, you might expand a little bit, especially with 2 strikes on you. But the Eagles girls are up there, they're up there swinging for sure.
And Therese Prebis, a base hit, started the 2nd inning for her first time up. She's only been to the plate twice today. She came out of the pinch hit situation in game 1 against Lake. It's a chopper, left side of the infield, gloved it short by Lorenz. She'll go across to first to get the out, 2 down. Can't help but be remarkably impressed with the range of Kaylin Lorenz at short.
I was just going to say that's probably the finest defensive play we've seen. Good range coming in on the ball to her right, and then having a throw back across to the left and make an accurate throw to get Prebis. Nicely done.
Lauren Robinson, the batter. Nobody on and 2 away. A hot shot, 1 hopper hit down to third. It's picked up there by Shirky. She'll fire over to first base to get the out, and it's a lightning quick 1-2-3 4th inning for Janelle Brooks. Still 4-1 in favor of Otsego after 3.5. We're live and free today on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Home half of the 4th inning. Otsego with a 3-run advantage of 4-1 on Avon. Top of the order, due up Riley Rowe, Ava Weaver, and Janelle Brooks to face Emily Heilman. Andy Bullbarge joined alongside John Guzik to call this one for you. Edwin Vereen directing, Sam Sovacool on the camera on a chilly Saturday afternoon here in Avon. First pitch is up and away for a ball.
Well, one thing we noticed when it's probably spring sports in general, but when it's 49 degrees out there, the entire Avon bench is involved with warming up the Avon defense, and it's part of just keeping everybody loose, right?
Absolutely. Rowe stares at an off-speed pitch for a called strike. Well, this inning of softball action at the Prebis Memorial Tournament on the Lorain County Sports Network is brought to you by Smitty's Place in Elyria. It's taken on the outer half for a called strike 2. Smitty's Place, a family tradition since 1934. Stop by 368 East Bridge Street in Elyria and grab a famous Smitty burger today. Smitty's Place, where friends go to meet. Next pitch is lifted into right field. This could be trouble if it's fair, but it lands just foul.
Yeah, out in right field out there was playing very much in and over. And that's Alexa Fozzie. She was positioned in a kind of a tough spot. That kind of lucky for Avon that one dropped foul. You mentioned Smitty's Place. How much nicer now that the construction's done, right?
Oh, fabulous.
On forever. It's so much easier to get in and out of there.
The next pitch bounces its way to the plate, so it's 2-2. Had a lot of fun doing the coaches show from there a few weeks ago. And you're right, it was a delight to be able to get in and out of there without having to move a few orange barrels out of the way to get in and out of the entrance. Two-strike pitch misses high and outside.
And I have to tell you, if you're watching this at any time, you want to go back, you can watch all these on replay. But that coaches show, extremely well done. Obviously, you did your homework, well researched, great conversations with the coaches. What a great program that was.
Much appreciated. 3-2 offering misses outside for ball 4, so Rowe finds her way down to first base for the 3rd time today. A really patient approach that time. She fell behind 1 and 2, and she draws a 7-pitch walk.
And leading off the inning for the 3rd time already today in 4 innings, because Otsego did bat around in the 3rd.
Ava Weaver taps one foul. Weaver walked and scored in that 3-run 3rd. She came across on a Janelle Brooks single. And the numbers we talked about before, they've got some kids hitting well over 400. Next pitch is grounded down to 3rd. It's picked up there by Thomas. Goes to 2nd for 1. That's all they're going to get. They get the lead runner, Riley Rowe, at 2nd on the force out. Weaver will reach on the fielder's choice. And because there's just not as much distance between the bases in softball, it's a lot harder to turn to.
Yeah, but also like the fundamentals that Thomas did right there. You can't get the double play if you don't get the first out. So she made sure she had a good grip on the ball, made an excellent throw to 2nd. And like you said, it's tough to get that double play anyway.
Runner heads for 2nd base. The throw from the catcher airmails its way into center field. Lauren Fisher able to pick it up on 2 hops to make sure that Weaver stays at 2nd base after the stolen bag. It's 0-1 on Janelle Brooks. Brooks will send it foul right back to the screen behind home plate. You're right, that's an odd structure that they have as the fence behind home plate. It almost looks like it's like not even a half, maybe like a quarter of a dome, right?
Right.
Like part of a dome they cut out and put back there.
But effective.
Very effective.
Keeps a lot of balls from going into the mucky woods behind the home plate too. The foul balls back there. But what a great, just a great atmosphere. I can't tell you how many times I've been to Avon High School. I think you can come down Hunter's Trail Road here and not even know that they've created this.
Ground ball hit down to 3rd, fielded by Thomas. She fires over to first base, and they're able to get the out. So Janelle Brooks put out at first base. Ava Weaver goes from 2nd to 3rd. And important to note, Natalie Thomas did what she could there to freeze the runner at 2nd. But there's only so much you can do when you're at 3rd base. You've got to make sure you get that out at first.
Oh, right. Again, great fundamental defense because she looked to make sure that if the runner was coming, she was going to take the runner out. But runner clearly has enough speed here. We already saw her steal 2nd base in this inning that she had no trouble advancing to 3rd on really what was just a standard good throw from Thomas. Good base running by Otsego.
Allie Hoffman, the cleanup batter, has 2 base hits today. A single that scored a run in the 1st inning. Then she hit a base hit in the left fielder last time up. She'll lift this one into shallow right. That'll land in no man's land for a base hit. 2nd RBI single of the game for Hoffman. 3rd base hit altogether for her. And that'll score Ava Weaver to make it 5-1 Knights.
Yeah, tough situation for the Eagles on that one. Just who had the best shot to really go all out after it. And you can't help but have the thoughts of a collision in your mind. And then it drops in the between.
Yeah, nobody really took charge there to call it off because I don't think anybody could confidently go after it.
Right.
Sharply hit ground ball to short, fielded there by Oakes. She'll send it over to first base, and the inning is over. But not before the Knights played another one on a 2-out base hit from Allie Hoffman to score Ava Weaver. Knights 5, Eagles 1 at the end of 4 here at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament at Avon High School. We're live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top half of the fifth inning, Avon down 5-1 to the Otsego Knights. Emily Heilman scheduled to lead things off, to be followed by the 9-1 hitters Jenna Smith and Lauren Fisher. Heilman reached on a fielder's choice, her first time up, and then stole second base. Janelle Brooks into the wind and the pitch on the way. Fastball called a strike. This inning is softball action at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament, brought to you by Network Land Title Agency in Elyria. Janelle Brooks brings in the next one, and it misses upstairs for ball two. Over 200 years of combined experience providing exceptional title and escrow services. Call Judy Glenn at 440-322-5300 or visit them online at networklandtitle.com. That's networklandtitle.com.
What a nice job by Emily Heilman up there, just taking her time and making sure that Brooks has to throw some pitches here this inning. Best way to start getting back into this.
A 3-1 count on Heilman. She awaits the next one from her counterpart, and it misses up high, ball four. Second walk issued by Janelle Brooks. And Avon's got their leadoff batter aboard. That's happened a lot for them today. As a matter of fact, it's happened in 4 out of their 5 innings of this game, but just really haven't been able to get much to come of that.
Always helps when the bottom of the order starts things percolating for your team, because you know you got your hitters coming up behind.
Jenna Smith will hit this in the air towards right center. The right fielder, Riley Rowe, was there to take care of it for the first out of the inning.
And what an interesting 24 hours for this Avon Eagles team, though, right? I mean, and that's the life of spring sports, especially in Northern Ohio. You're going to play these 3 games in less than 24 hours. Of course, one of them shortened by rain. You're dealing with the weather left and right. You play when you can, right? Because you can schedule all you want, but Mother Nature going to adapt that schedule just like they did today.
Here's Lauren Fisher, hits this one on the ground. It'll get by Mackenzie Shirkey at third base, and that'll be a base hit for Lauren Fisher, her 3rd of the game. Heilman advances to second. So a base hit for Lauren Fisher. And Avon's got a handful of those today. 2 on and 1 down for Leah Stanford.
I said this earlier when Lauren Fisher was up to plate, but what a just intelligent approach to hitting that's getting her the success she's getting.
It's Michaela Jankowski, the runner at second, taking off for third. The throw down there, hit her on her way to third base.
Yep.
So she will steal the bag successfully.
If that doesn't hit her, though, she's going home. So when that's sore tomorrow morning when she wakes up, she'll be like, oh, that was that run I wanted to get. Hopefully they'll still be able to plate it here at the top of the order. Leah Stanford, the number 2 hitter.
Takes a pitch up high, so it's 2 balls and no strikes. Now the door is open for Avon again to chip away at this deficit. Down 5-1 here in the 5th inning. Janelle Brooks misses high again, ball 3. Natalie Thomas waits in the on-deck circle. We thought the temperatures were going to get warmer. It feels like it's gotten chillier since we started a few hours ago. Fastball called a strike on the outer half.
Yeah, the forecast I saw all day was like morning low of 48, afternoon high of 50. I think that's about what we got to briefly.
Yeah.
If that.
Had a little sunshine for maybe 2 minutes there. Fastball, strike at the knees. It's 3-2.
I know you guys talked about this earlier. All these teams coming to the Prebis from all over the place. Some of them staying overnight. Talked to the Riverside coach last night. They drove all the way to North Ridgeville to turn around and go home.
Next one popped up. This will be in the center of the infield, caught by the shortstop, Kaylin Lorenz. That's a huge out, induced by Janelle Brooks. And with 2 away, it'll be up to Natalie Thomas to try and make something of this threat.
Good chance to make something, though. Again, Otsego's doing a good job of doing what they have to do one batter at a time, but Avon still 2 in scoring position.
It's a fastball high and wide, 1-0. But, you know, to speak to just how great this tournament is for all parties involved, there are a lot of schools that don't mind taking that chance of going to North Ridgeville and then just driving right back, even if it is over an hour away, knowing what they get out of the experience.
Well, and again, I was talking to the coach last night from Riverside. He's 17th year of coaching. It's not the first time he's had to drive out somewhere for a game that didn't happen. So it just becomes you. I mean, the parents that are softball parents are just something else.
Ground ball hit. That'll get by Shirk, get there and go into left field for a base hit. That plate's at least one, and it's going to get two more home. Heading into second base is Natalie Thomas. She's able to score both Fisher and Jankowski. And Avon able to cut that deficit in half, now down 5-3 on the base hit from Natalie Thomas.
And Thomas, not only her second hit of the day, that's 3 RBIs for her. And even the other ball, she hit hard at third. And that one went right past the third baseman. And all of a sudden, right, we're looking at a different type of game here. 5-3, still got a couple at-bats to go.
Yeah, the complexion has changed. There's no question about that.
Huge hit. And you still got a runner in scoring position after that.
Here's Jada Smith. Brooks got her in a pair of strikeouts so far. Smith will lift it into center field. Coming on in center, Grace Gray, and she'll make the catch to end the inning. However, a big 2-out, 2-run base hit from Natalie Thomas brings Avon just a couple of runs closer. They're down 5-3 halfway through the fifth. We're at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Five to 3 is our score as we get set to enter the home half of the fifth inning. Gracie Gray, Kenneth Jones, and Mackenzie Shirky due up to face Emily Heilman. Now trying to keep this a 2-run deficit. Ostigo plated a few big ones in the third. They added runs in the first and the fourth inning as well. First pitch swung on a tap foul. We do have a new pitcher into the game as Maria Young has come on to pitch. So Maria Young, who has been in the circle for a vast majority of this season for Avon. One of the best freshmen in the area, no doubt about that, especially in the circle. But also at the plate, too. She's been able to hold her own there. Facing Gracie Gray. This one is hit foul right back to the screen. And the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. I think Coach Matusek, certainly seeing that this game has been narrowed down to a 2-run deficit, wanted to give the ball to someone who's been incredibly reliable in the circle. A drop third strike as she swung and missed. They'll throw down to first base to retire Gray, and we have one down.
But also, that Heilman came in that first game to give a better chance for Young to come in and kind of still have some pitches, maybe some innings left in her arm on this day, and that's what you approach this game is, you know, you want to win them both, but got a chance to at least get this second one.
Fastball high on Kenna Jones, who's 0 for 2. A loud lineup that she sent to Jocelyn Oakes at short back of the second. Then she was hit by a pitch in the third.
So I don't think you say enough about the effort of Emily Heilman today. Great job.
Next pitch is down low, 2-0. This inning is softball action on the Lorain County Sports Network, brought to you by Zach Simonoff for Judge. With over 26 years as an attorney in Lorain County, Zach Simonoff is running for judge of the Oberlin Municipal Court. Visit SimonoffForJudge.com. That's SimonoffForJudge.com, paid for by the Simonoff for Judge Committee. Good hard fastball called, strike 2 on Kenna Jones. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on her.
If you didn't tell me this young lady was a freshman, I would never have guessed that. Just her whole presence, her physical stature.
One hopper hit towards second. Leah Stanford's able to knock it down, but not able to handle it and throw it over to first base. She'll have to hang on to that, and Kenna Jones is aboard. And Dave Rivera mentioned it during the first broadcast today. That's a name we'll be talking about a lot here in Lorain County for years to come.
Right.
She was the player of the game at North Ridgeville yesterday in their win over Holman. And it looks like we're going to see a courtesy runner at first base.
You inspire some of those 7th and 8th grade girls at the Avon Middle School to say, hey, you know what, let me practice my softball a little more because I'm going to have a pitcher that's anchoring this team moving forward. So especially when you get a freshman and you know you can really build a team around a strong pitcher in high school softball.
Yeah, and look, and in the SWC, you're trying to get up there with the North Ridgevilles and the Amhersts of the world, and if you've got someone like this in the circle, it only increases your chances of getting deeper into the postseason and taking down some of those top teams who have kind of been at the forefront of the SWC for the last few years. A high chopper hit back to the mound, picked up by Young, throws to second to get the lead runner. A good heads-up play to get the force out at second. Shirky will reach first base rather on the fielder's choice. And with 2 away now, here's the 9-hole hitter, Lauren Euler.
Is it hard to slide on this turf? It shouldn't be, right? I mean,
no, when it's wet, though, you've got to be careful you don't slide past it.
well, I was surprised that that runner kind of went in. Well, maybe if she would have went a little more aggressively and slid, could have beat that throw. But hey, kudos for Young getting that play and getting that lead runner.
Yeah, she got rid of it quickly. You really can't hesitate in a position like that where you're stepping and throwing behind your body like that. The next one slapped back to the screen foul. It's 1-1.
Yeah, what a conference this Southwestern has become for softball. It's amazing to have 2 teams ranked in the state top 10. And this is, you know, multiple years that the conference been producing top teams.
Off speed called, strike 2 on Lauren Euler. Well, and of course, you know, I mean, Amherst has been around it for a while, but at the end of the last decade, Coach Ken Fennick's team, those teams are always very good at Elyria. They were state powerhouses year in and year out, although that was before Elyria was in the SWC, but you get the idea. You've got programs like that with the pedigree that they've got. Makes the conference all the more intriguing. Next pitch will get by the catcher, Robinson. The runner will advance to second base.
I have a tough time catching softball because of my work schedule, and I was looking forward to stopping at Avon Lake on Monday on the way home to catch the end of the Ridgeville-Avon Lake game there. Not only to see Ridgeville, great team.
This is lined into left center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Cut off in the gap by Jenna Smith. The left fielder fires it back to the infield. Maria Young will cut it off on the left side of the infield. It's an RBI single. Shirky will score. Lauren Euler will stay put at first base with a run-scoring base knock. Another 2-out hit that produces a run for the Knights.
Really pretty good defensive play out there in left field by Smith, because cutting that off the way she did held that to a single.
Fastball misses high to the leadoff hitter, Riley Rowe, who has reached first base every time up on a base hit, an error, and a walk. Fastball thigh high for a strike. A 6-3 lead now for Otsego. The Knights with a real nice response after allowing 2 in that last half inning. That makes its way to the plate very slowly on a hop. The runner will move to second base and get there standing up. Another thing that stands out about Otsego, very aggressive on the bases, John. They are not afraid.
Yeah, there's definitely no should I go. It's I'm going.
This is popped up. First base side of the infield, a near collision over there, but Reese Prebis is able to make the grab with the second baseman, Leah Stanford, sliding right behind her. So that'll wrap up the bottom of the 5th. Otsego plates another on a 2-out RBI base hit from Lauren Euler through 5. It's a 6-3 lead for the Knights over Avon here at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. Top of the 6th inning at Avon. Eagles trailing 6-3 to Otsego. It'll be the 5, 6, and 7 batters, Jocelyn Oaks, Reese Prebis, and Lauren Robinson. To face Janelle Brooks, now hanging on to a 3-run lead. Avon was able to plate a pair and a base hit from Natalie Thomas back in the 5th inning. Able to draw a little bit closer, but then Otsego with a real nice response as Lauren Euler's RBI base hit scored Mackenzie Shirkey, and now they have a 3-run lead again. He's John Guzik. I'm Andy Bolbarch. Directing today, Edwin Vereen, Sam Sovacool on the camera. Happy to bring this one to you on the Lorain County Sports Network on a chilly Saturday afternoon. Jocelyn Oaks stares at a fastball for a strike.
A couple other quick sports updates for you. Cavs are out there taking on Miami down in Florida. They're up 18-15, 8 minutes in. 8 points for Jared Allen so far.
Be nice to take a 3-0 lead over the Heat. Fastball cut on and missed for strike 2.
And Ohio State fans, they might even actually be slightly disappointed at this one, but the championship hero, Jack Sawyer, just got drafted by the Steelers.
Huh.
So
fastball away for ball 1. There you go. I mean, probably mixed feelings for some in the area. And the Steelers have a tendency of turning those Buckeyes into really good players. Fastball cut on and missed for strike 3. Boy, Janelle Brooks with her 8th strikeout of the game. She's gotten Jocelyn Oaks 3 times today.
So how good is their top pitcher if this young lady's their second pitcher? I mean,
it's a great question.
You know, I mean, it's of course, if it was warmer and I have to pick up my lawnmower, I'd be sticking around for this next one because it's going to be a good one. Otsego is going to play Lake in the Prebis and continue playing here on this turf field.
Reese Prebis, 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out to Kaylin Lorenz at short. She pops it up.
Oh, I've
back
got that
this
one.
direction. Bodies scatter out in front of us as that lands out of play.
I should have dove.
Well, you should have, but that's okay.
Of course, I'd have to get out of my chair.
Right, you got to get out of your chair.
Before
Your
I
knees
get
might be a little stiff, right? A lot of things have to happen. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
They all happen in sequence.
Right. Sam and Edwin had you covered. They shielded you. Prebis takes down low for a ball, and it's one thing, I think, for us to sit here and say you got to do what you can in order to stay loose and stay warm. It's another thing to actually do it. It can be tough, not to get stiff out here. As the next pitch is cut on and missed for strike three. But again, that's the advantage I think that pitchers have in these conditions. They'll always tell you batters hate hitting in this stuff because it's just so hard for them to stay loose.
And it can sting when you connect, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Here's Lauren Robinson. A strikeout and a ground out for her so far. First pitch at the knees for a strike.
Of course, by this point in April, if you're a spring athlete in Northern Ohio, you're all kind of acclimated to all kinds of weather. When you're playing in it for the first time or two, I'm sure it's a lot tougher.
0-1 pitch is grounded foul.
I alluded earlier to being a parent of a softball player is tough, because you're standing out in this stuff all the time, cheering your kids on, supporting them. And then like games like this morning, if you got friends or family that want to come watch play, you're texting or calling, saying, no, we're not in North Ridgeville, we're in Avon now.
Scattered all over the place, and as wonderful as this field is, like you said, it can be kind of tough to see simply because it's buried back in here. It's nice. It's great that they've got this all turf surface here.
Yeah, and the Lake team's using the batting cage now. There's a batting cage out here, nice scoreboard.
Line drive into left field, base hit, played on one hop and left by Lauren Euler. And Lauren Robinson comes through with a 2-out single to left field. That's 7 hits for Avon in this one.
Let's see what the strategy is here, because you're at the bottom third of the order. You're in the top of the 6th inning, down by 3. This run at first is very important. They're going to go with the courtesy runner again.
Yep, courtesy runner. Jankowski is out there again. And the batter is Maria Young. This will be her first at bat today. Or in this game, rather. She had a few at bats in that first contest. The pitch is high for a ball. Maria Young making waves for not only what she does in the circle, but at the plate, too. She helped herself out a lot in the win over Holben yesterday. 1-0 delivery, pop foul, first base side, that gets out of play. Now we thought Lake might leave the facilities and go warm up somewhere. They were sitting behind home plate, taking this one in, and as John mentioned, now they're down, taking some swings in the cages down the right field line. Maria Young fouls off another one, and it's 1-2.
Is that going in someone's backyard back there?
Pretty close.
It's like living on a golf course, right? You got to watch for that big yellow softball coming in.
You know what you're getting into.
No, they don't. This was built well after that development was built. So.
Fastball misses low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think the residences back there are just far enough back where it probably wouldn't reach.
And there's trees, too.
Right, lots of trees.
But, yeah, this path, I'll talk about after this pitch.
Young gets a line drive down the left field line. That's a fair ball. This is headed towards the corner, but it's knocked down by Lauren Euler. And Kowski on her way to third. She'll get there standing up. And Maria Young has a 2-bagger for the Eagles. Now they're threatening again with runners on second and third and 2 down.
Remind me again, she's a freshman?
Right. Wow. Right.
That was the hardest hit ball of the day.
And that ball was smoked down that left field line.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple line drives by Otsego in that one inning that went to her shortstop. But that ball, that's the hardest hit ball the whole day. And it comes from your pitcher who came in off the bench. Real big opportunity here.
Here's Jenna Smith. 9-hole hitter. Swings and she taps that one foul. Smith with a strikeout and a fly out to right field. Avon trailing 6-3, top 6. Janelle Brooks trying to work herself out of this jam, and now she'll step off the rubber. Saw something she didn't like. Smith will dig back in. She swings and she comes up empty, a little bit behind on that fastball for strike 2.
Yeah, we got some serious drama here. 2 outs with 2 runners in scoring position, down by 3. Big pitch coming up here.
Brooks trying to put her away. The 0-2 just a little bit low. Not a bad spot, though, on that 2-strike pitch.
Yeah, especially because you had mentioned the umpire was giving that low strike earlier, but I do believe that Smith just a little bit taller enough to say that's too low for here.
Brooks offers up. Gets that one on the inner half for a called strike 3. That's double-digit strikeouts for Janelle Brooks through 6 innings today. She's got 10 strikeouts. Avon will strand a pair in scoring position, and through 5.5, they're still trailing Otsego 6-3. We're live and free today on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. The Otsego Knights looking to add to their 6-3 advantage on the Avon Eagles as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning. Ava Weaver, Janelle Brooks, and Allie Hoffman due up to face Maria Young. Otsego has looked awfully sharp in the early stages of this one. First pitch is up high for a ball on Janelle Brooks.
Yeah, paying attention to that Cavs game. If I told you that Darius Garland was not going to play and Donovan Mitchell would have 1 point in the first quarter, would you think the Cavs would be up by 13?
Not a chance, but here they are.
33-20 after 1.
A 2-0 count now on Ava Weaver. Weaver scored twice today, reaching on a walk and a fielder's choice. Young's next pitch is bounced foul down the third baseline.
You know, we were talking offline about Emily Heilman. I mean, she really pitched a very good game. This is a 10-2 team coming in, and you know, I think they're going to try to tee off on the number 2 pitcher, and she kept the Eagles in the game here.
Fastball is low. A hitter's count now facing Ava Weaver, and you're right, she kept them in the game. Did exactly what Coach Matusak was hoping she would do. Young gets a fastball, thigh high for a strike, and you're right, it's been an interesting 24 hours for Avon.
Yeah.
Just a whirlwind here at this Prebis tournament. Young delivers. This is hit well to the gap in left center field. This is going to go all the way to the wall. Weaver's on her way to second, and she will put it into cruise control as she strolls in with a stand-up double. That was a very hard hit ball to the gap in left center field.
Well, I said Young in the last half inning had the hardest hit ball of the game, and that was certainly the hardest hit ball by Otsego today. Batters warming up here, even though the temperature's not.
That's right. They're starting to heat up. The next pitch is spoiled foul off the bat of Janelle Brooks. She helped herself out with a 2-run base hit in the third. A pop out to short and a ground out to third earlier. So she's pulled the ball quite a bit here today. Pitch off speed called for a strike.
I'm not exactly sure what year they built this facility, but I mentioned earlier my nephew Alex Guzik played tackle for the Avon Eagles football team, and we used to park back here and walk along this path to the football stadium.
Off-speed pitch, cut on and missed for strike 3.
That was a great pitch, wasn't it?
Really took something off.
Yeah. Nicely done.
People forget about the path that you take all the way over to 611 from here that takes you over to that early learning center.
So there was nothing here, and then they created this beautiful. And it's like playing softball out in the park. This is a great layout.
First pitch is tapped foul off the bat of Allie Hoffman. Well, how about the game that she's had so far? Hoffman, 3 for 3 with the trio singles, and she's knocked in 2 runs along the way.
And played a very solid first base for Otsego as well out in the field.
Change up called, strike 2.
Boy, how about Young? Just really right there. That was a great pitch. The strikeout pitch was fantastic. She's bringing something extra here, not in the heat, but in control.
Fastball was tapped foul, and after slowing her down, she tried to decided to try and speed her up, and she was only able to get a small piece of that, sending it foul. Maria Young ready with another 0-2 pitch. It's popped up. First base side coming over at second base. Leah Stanford makes the catch. Runner advances from second to third. Ava Weaver able to get herself in a position where she's now 90 feet away from scoring.
And how about that? They got Allie Hoffman out on a nice play, ranging back.
First time they've retired her this afternoon. And here's Kaylin Lorenz. First pitch fastball, called a strike. A 3-run lead for Otsego. They're up 6-3.
Yeah, really key at bat still here because you want to keep this runner at third and get out of this inning. Get back to the dugout if you're the Eagles.
It's knocked foul back to the netting, and it's 0-2.
Of course, Knight's sitting there, they're singing the exact opposite, right? We can get this insurance run in, feel a little more comfortable about this last inning, but
sometimes that insurance run to make it a 4-run game is such a big hurdle to get past mentally, as the next one is lined foul down the first baseline.
And looking ahead to that 7th inning, Avon does have the top of the order coming up, and Lauren Fisher, that leadoff hitter for the Eagles, has been incredibly efficient so far today. So you count on them having a good start to the inning, see if they can put together some back-to-back hits and pull this one out.
Young misses up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The double from Ava Weaver started this inning. Young struck out Brooks and then got Hoffman to pop out to second. Off-speed pitch, popped up, foul ground, first base side. It's out of play.
You know, I know you'll take care of this on the air as well, but I have to mention for myself, what a great job by Dave Rivera.
Yeah.
Trying to coordinate all this baseball and softball coverage in the spring. And the guy sitting next to me on the other side, Edwin Vereen, I mean, you have just done marvelous work here, buddy.
Next pitch is hit well, deep down the left field line. That is a fair ball. This is ticketed for the corner. That'll play a big insurance run. On her way toward third, and Lorenz will dive in head first with a triple. An RBI 3-bagger for Kaylin Lorenz, and she knocks in a huge insurance run for the Knights.
That's why they're 10-2, right? They come up and they have players capable of doing that. We talked about how their big hitter today, Allie Hoffman, the Eagles finally got her off the base pass, and the very next player says, I can do that and so much more. I thought it had a chance to get out when it left the bat.
Yep, I thought so too. And again, the wind has been blowing in from left field here today.
And not just the wind, it's just the dampness, the humidity, right? The air is a little heavier.
Conditions that are not ripe for home runs, although we did see one earlier.
Sometimes the most exciting play, baseball and softball, is that triple, right? I mean, those are exciting when, and they're rare, certainly.
Gracie Zagray, 1 for 3 today. She sends the next one foul.
Of course, if you're an Eagle fan, you're like, no, that's the worst play I've seen all day.
Ostego's peppered runs all across the board, too. They've scored in almost every inning of this game. 7-3 lead now. Another one 90 feet away. Fastball misses low. The only inning they didn't score was the second. But they've had traffic in every single inning. Off-speed pitch is called strike 3. Zagray goes down looking. Maria Young has the strikeout, her second of the inning, and her third altogether. However, the Knights add another on a 2-out RBI triple from Kaylin Lorenz. They lead Avon 7-3 at the end of 6. We're at the Prebis Memorial Tournament, live and free on YouTube on the Lorain County Sports Network. It's now or never for the Avon Eagles. They trail going into the top of the 7th inning, 7-3 to Otsego. And they've got the top of their order due up. Lauren Fisher to lead things off, and she'll take one a little bit low for a ball. Eagles on the verge of going 1-2 at this Prebis softball tournament. Fell earlier today to Lake in a mercy rule contest, 11-1. Next pitch, slapped down to third base, picked up with a shortstop. Lorenz throws over to first, not in time.
No chance. She's coming out of that left-handed batter's box on the move. There was no chance that anyone was going to throw her out on that one. 4th time on the base pass already today for Lauren Fisher. Boy,
4 for 4.
I like her game. My gosh.
4 base hits for Lauren Fisher. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. Indeed, we do. That's going to be Jordan Ash stepping in to pinch hit for Leah Stanford. So Jordan Ash being called on here to provide some thump off that Avon bench. Janelle Brooks twirls the first one, a swing and a miss for a strike.
And you notice right away she's one of the few that have been playing out here in this weather with short sleeves.
Short sleeves, yeah.
Of course, hopefully she's sitting with a jacket on the bench, but
all part of that mental toughness, right? Weathering the elements. Ash will look at one low and away, 1-1.
also you probably notice in our camera shot in right field is Riley Rowe from Otsego wearing her jacket because she's going to be pitching the next game. She's trying to keep everything warm there. She's going to take on Lake.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch is low again, ball 2, although Lake did have a first baseman wearing the sleeveless jersey. I mean, talk about weathering the elements. Now the 2-1, she's behind at a fastball for strike 2.
Of course, these are the same teenagers that parents complain about all the time. They can't believe they're going to school in January in shorts or with no jacket. Where's your jacket?
The ultimate irony.
So they're hard in some of these.
2 ball, 2 strike pitch is fought off foul first base side, so we'll do it again.
Got a lot of work to do here still for Avon in this last inning, but it's certainly, you know, not a foregone conclusion, especially when you get Fisher getting things going like you did. All you can do is one batter at a time.
2-2 to Ash is grounded down to first base. It's picked up there by Hoffman. She throws to second, and they don't get her.
Well, did she step on the bag?
Oh, maybe she did step on the bag.
I'll tell you what, nobody on this side of the field thought she stepped on the bag, but apparently the batter did. She immediately returned because I thought, oh, this is going to be a huge mistake by Otsego. She must have literally just in the same motion stepped with the left foot on the bag, turned and threw with her left arm. So
they do get the runner at first. It's a ground out 3 unassisted. They get Leah Stanford. Lawrence Fisher makes her way to second. It was tough to tell from here. There was some obstructions.
It actually goes back to a really great play by Allie Hoffman because she did it so smoothly. I'm telling you, everybody on this side of the field didn't think she stepped on the base. She did it in just one step and throw motion. It's a great play.
Natalie Thomas has had a nice day at the dish. RBI double, a 2-run single. She'll take a called strike, and she's quickly in a hole here, 0-2.
That's that Allie Hoffman that we were talking about last half inning, and what a great day she's had at the plate for Otsego. Now playing defensively first base.
Yeah, she's got 3 big hits for the Knights. Fastball misses high and away. Jada Smith waits in the on-deck circle for Avon. Janelle Brooks trying to go the distance here. Fires again. This is knocked foul off the fence right in front of us. Deuces remain wild here on Thomas.
We're going to wrap up on YouTube our coverage of the Prebis, but let people know watching. There's other games still going on this afternoon, and this is a tremendous amount of talent in Lorain County for this weekend. Get a chance out, see some good sports this afternoon.
Change up misses low and you're right. There's games in North Ridgeville, games in LaGrange, games at the Pipe Yard.
And a game right here.
Game right here.
A really good matchup right here. They're both non-Lorain County teams, but really good matchup coming up next.
Fastball misses outside, ball 4, so Natalie Thomas is aboard for a 3rd time in this one. Fisher will stay put at second, 2 on and 1 away for Jada Smith.
Keeping things alive. Here you go. Get the tying run into the on-deck circle now.
Jada Smith looks at an off-speed pitch for a strike. And you're right, in the on-deck circle, that's where that tying run lies right now. But that insurance run, at this point, really seems to loom a little bit larger for the Knights.
There's a huge difference between a 3-run lead and a 4-run lead, right? Just mentally and as statistically.
It's just a bigger hurdle mentally to overcome, I think.
The great thing about, softball, one of those rare untimed sports where we're going to keep playing and Avon's going to keep having chances until Otsego can get 3 putouts.
1-1, cut on and missed for strike 2.
Yeah, had her fooled there. A little drop on that ball coming in. Swung way over it.
Avon's scored a few times in this game, but they've scattered a lot of base runners. A lot of traffic on the bases. 2-strike pitch, swung out and missed for strike 3. Janelle Brooks with her 11th strikeout. What a game she's had in the circle.
This is where if you're on the ESPN app, they're telling you that percentage of winning it went down a little bit here for the Eagles, but still live. And
Jocelyn Oaks at the plate, and that's going to bounce away from the catcher, Aubrey Hartman, allowing both base runners to advance. Fisher makes her way to third, Thomas to second.
Sometimes it seems like a little thing in a 4-run game, but you just eliminated the force out on the bases, so you give yourself a little extra chance, depending where the balls hit, to keep the inning alive.
Jocelyn Oaks will take a called strike. She's had a tough game at the plate, but she's had a really good game defensively. She's been all over the place with her glove. She's been one of their best hitters all season long. Fastball called, strike 2. So now Otsego 1 strike away from wrapping up their 11th victory of the season. Brooks deals, and she misses up high.
You mentioned it could be their 11th win. It's only their 13th game of the season, and it tells you how tough it is sometimes to get games in, matching up your schedule with the weather.
2-2 incoming, and that's a bit low to stuff the count full.
Lisa Jocelyn's had a nice year at the plate. Not a great game here for the. All you gotta do is get a hold of one.
Brooks sends another one to the plate that's fouled back.
Boy, that was a pretty strong cut, though.
Yeah, a very strong cut. And look, we've talked about her numbers before, but I mean, look, she came into the tournament hitting .380 with 3 home runs, 5 3-baggers. But Brooks has handled her well to this point. The pitch swung on and popped up into right center field, and it'll be caught by the second baseman, Ava Weaver, drifting back, and that will put this one in the books. Final score, 7-3. Otsego a winner over Avon. We'll take a quick timeout and come back to wrap things up for you after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. 7-3, our final score today in Game 2 of our coverage at the Prebis Memorial Tournament here at Avon High School. The Otsego Knights a winner over the Avon Eagles. A great game for us to call here on the Lorain County Sports Network, live and free on YouTube. And, well, John, we didn't know a whole lot about Otsego coming into this game, but with the win, they go to 11-2, and well, they were terrific here today. We were impressed by a number of their players. Their pitcher, Janelle Brooks, was outstanding, striking out 11 batters in this game. And there were just a lot of great things to talk about with a team like this that came from a little over an hour and a half away, and they were able to take down the Avon Eagles, who've had a nice season.
Yeah, I had a tough time pronouncing the high school name when I first found out about it this morning that we were moving right here. But really, it seems like a really great day for Avon, though, especially when you've got a young freshman pitcher to have this experience as you go to the home stretch of your conference season. You know, Avon is hanging with this team pitch for pitch. You see the fundamental plays that Avon made today that they'll build on, and it's a great primer to get ready for this second half of the season, the home stretch and the tournament coming up.
Well, we mentioned the performance turned in with the pitcher, Janelle Brooks. 11 strikeouts. She was terrific. Our player of the game, though, is the first baseman, Allie Hoffman. She went 3 for 4 with a couple of RBI base hits. She was a key cog in the middle of that batting order. She walks out of here with a T-shirt brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts. So congratulations to Allie on being named the player of the game. Otsego with the win goes to 11-2. Avon with the loss falls to 9-8. Some individual performances we need to highlight here. How about Lauren Fisher leading off for Avon, 4 for 4 with 4 base hits. Natalie Thomas had a couple of big hits in this one, an RBI double, a 2-run single. She reached 3 times in 4 trips to the plate. And, you know, taking a look at Otsego, we talked about Allie Hoffman. She had 3 hits. Riley Rowe was a tough out at the top of the order. A big RBI triple for Kaylin Lorenz, which really seemed like the backbreaker in the 6th inning. It was a chilly afternoon for softball, but a good one for us for sure.
It could have been warmer.
Yeah, way warmer.
But that's spring sports in Northeast Ohio. And the thing that make you feel a little warmer about it is that the Cavs are up double digits here heading to the halftime.
Well, hopefully they can keep that up and they can go up 3-0 in that series.
And on WOBL, the home of that Cleveland's baseball team, they're up too as well. And you know you can hear the game quicker on OBL than on other stations, right? You know that?
You can. That's what I've been told.
So if you really want to know what's going on. But Cleveland up on Boston 4-3 right now, and that game is on WOBL.
Nice, and don't forget you can catch the nightcap there just after 6 o'clock. They'll get going against the Red Sox tonight. Our man Sam Sovacool will be back in the studio for that one, making sure that you could hear it. All right, well, that'll wrap things up for us here today. Again, 7-3, Otsego win over Avon. They've got another game coming up here in a moment between Lake and Otsego, and I think that'll be the final game here as far as the previous games at this facility are concerned. There are lots of others going on in and across the area. Some people to thank before we get out of here. I want to thank all of our sponsors for this one. The Elyria Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, Network Land Title Agency in Elyria, Zach Simonoff for Judge, Victory Park, Ohio in North Ridgeville, and Smitty's Place in Elyria. Appreciate all of the sponsors as we get ready to wrap things up here for our coverage at the Prebis Memorial Softball Tournament. John, any final thoughts from you before we say thanks to everybody else and say goodnight?
Just so much fun, like you say. Thanks to everybody, like the guys at the station with Dave Rivera helping putting this all together, as well as Gary Tollett supporting coverage of this, because really fast pitch softball, I think, is one of the most underrated and under-observed sports. It's so much fun to be out here. Game moves quick. It's a lot of fun. Everyone's, really on top of things, and had a great time this afternoon shivering with you.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Hopefully the next time we do this, we'll have a lot more sunshine at our disposal. All right, some people to thank before we sign off here. Big thanks to both head coaches in this one, Ken Matusak of Avon, Coach Collier of Otsego. When you get games thrown at you late, you never know what kind of information you're going to have at your hands. And Coach Collier is able to get us some really good stuff leading into this game, and we found out that we were calling his game about 4 or 5 hours ago. So a big thanks to him for getting us all that information. You mentioned Dave Rivera for all of his hard work setting all this up and getting the wheels in motion to do games here at the Prebis Memorial Tournament. Big thanks to Dave. Our thanks to the entire broadcast team. My tag team partner, John Guzik, the captain of our ship, Edwin Vereen, and Sam Sovacool for working the camera. For the entire broadcast team here at Avon High School, this is Andy Bolbarge saying thanks again for tuning in to high school softball here at the Prebis Memorial Tournament here at Avon High School, live and free on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend.